Hello and welcome to Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com. It's game time from Memorial Stadium in Seattle, Washington. I'm Alex Webster along with Scott Eklund on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. Tonight's matchup features the Metro Sound Division champion Nathan Hale Raiders against the Mountain Division champions, the Crusaders of Eastside Catholic High. Nathan Hale coming into tonight's game with an overall record of 7-1. And the second-ranked Crusaders are undefeated at 8-0. And the Pledge of Allegiance now concluded here at Memorial Stadium. And, Scott, this is a game of two competitors going for a championship here. Last year they were in the bridesmaid game, the runner-up contest in the crossover. Eastside Catholic won that one, but this time they're meeting nearly a year later for the championship.
Yeah, and Eastside Catholic has been a real juggernaut this year. Been tough on every team they've faced. They beat O'Day, which was a big hurdle for them getting to this point. Nathan Hale has kind of been an upstart for the past couple years, a team that didn't do a lot in the early part of the decade, but then now, over the last 4 or 5 years, they've made the playoffs, they've had winning seasons, so this should be a pretty good matchup tonight, although I think in the end, with Eastside Catholic's athleticism and size and speed, that they're going to end up coming out on top. But Nathan Hale, don't count them out because they've actually got a good, gritty team that likes to play a lot of defense.
This is a 3A classification in the WIAA here in the state of Washington, and the only other undefeated team besides the Eastside Catholic is Bellevue.
Oh, by the way.
And that is the road that you have to go.
And Eastside Catholic got blown out by Bellevue on the road last year in the first round of the playoffs. So I think Eastside Catholic kind of circled Bellevue and said, hey, if that's the kind of team we want to be like, and if we're going to do that, we need to make plays. And right now, especially against O'Day, when I went and watched them a couple weeks ago, Eastside Catholic is making those plays. We'll see how they do for the rest of the year, but so far so good for this team.
Well, right now it's the Metro Championship on the line. The Crusaders of Eastside Catholic, they are considered the home team. They'll wear the blue and orange. The Raiders of Nathan Hale, head coached by Hoover Hopkins, will be the team in white, considered the visiting team, and it will be the Crusaders that will kick things off as Jacob Gay will put a leg into this one. The senior kicker has 10 touchbacks this year. This one's going to be about 5-6 yards shy, and a little lateral here for the Raiders as they get something cooking. A little hole, and he's tripped up at the 25-yard line. Good return, and that's where the Raider offense will set up shop. And they've got a pretty good offense this year, keyed by Winston Halem Eames. He's got some good abilities back there, and he's got a lot of help as well.
Yeah, and you know, Eastside Catholic's going to have the ball first, and we're going to see what they do on offense and defense for Nathan Hale is one of their strong suits.
Actually, we do have that. Thank you so much for the correction. As the both teams with the blue, They love to sport it here, and so it will be the Raiders on defense and the Eastside Catholic Crusaders ready to get things going. Trey Reynolds is the quarterback. He's a good one. And they'll hand it off here, and a good defensive knife in by the Raiders to cut that one down.
Yeah, Devin Tautolo, really strong, got good penetration on that, and really made the play in the backfield. And when you mentioned Trey Reynolds, he's really the difference maker for them. He can run the ball, he can throw it. He's a real good leader out there for Eastside Catholic.
Henry Jarvis is the running back we'll call a lot in this one. He is a 5'10", 215-pound junior. Minimal gain on the carry. Second down and 9 to go. Another handoff, and he's met in there, Jarvis, once again by a host of shirts.
Yeah, and once again, Tautolo holds strong and allows his linebackers to get in and make a play. That's something that Eastside Catholic really needs to be able to do, is to handle that inside game, because right now that's really going to be the key for this game as they kind of poke at each other and figure out where the weakness is on each team.
Just underway from Memorial Stadium. Alex Webster along with Scott Eklund here in the Metro Championships. The Crusaders of Eastside Catholic going for it here on 3rd and 11. It's complete for a first down and a little bit more. Running with this one is Justin Musser, I believe. And it is Musser with his 12th reception of the year. He's second on the team in catches.
Yeah, found a nice soft spot there in the zone. Nathan Hale went into a 2-deep. Cover 2 zone, and he just found the soft spot. Reynolds found him and hit him for a big gain, got a first down.
And they'll go with the no huddle here. Spread them out with 4 receivers in the set. 10:42 to go in the first quarter, no score, and the Crusaders threatening, almost got the Raiders to jump, and I think that they did. First penalty of the night. Encroachment against the Raiders.
And that's what you love about having a senior as your quarterback, a guy who can use the cadence a little bit, get some free yardage for your team, get something positive going. And now they have 1st and 5, and they can do a lot of different things on this because he is such a good runner, but he's also a good thrower.
Reynolds, 6 foot, 190-pounder, top passer on the team, second leading rusher. Has started 6 games, make this his 7th. He missed games against Eastlake and Centennial earlier this season. He's looking in the middle of the field. He finds another receiver. It's Musser again, who's got a big first down and is deep into Raider territory, but we've got a flag back here at the 50-yard line.
And that might be on Eastside Catholic, number 51, Drew Springfield. I think he was hitting him after the play.
And everyone appears to be coming back. That penalty flag spotted at the 46. And it is a big personal foul.
And Coach Thielbar just gave Springfield a real earful right there, what he thought of that play. And something where, hey, you want your guys playing to the whistle, but there's no need when the ball's 20 yards down the field to be blocking a guy.
Jeremy Thielbar in his second year at the helm of the Crusaders. And he comes by way of the college ranks from the University of Idaho. And the previous head coach for Eastside Catholic, Jason Gesser, as they've had some upheaval at the University of Idaho, is the interim coach over there.
Yeah, that was a little surprising for a lot of people since it's really only his second year at the University of Idaho, and he's so young. But, Jason Gesser's had head coaching experience. I think that's one of the reasons why they were willing to give him the chance to lead the team and things like that. So, Thielbar, I think, has done an unbelievable job here. He's really galvanized this team. He's gotten the program to a point where they believe they can win. They've got a lot of athletic kids. They've got a lot of young guys who are pretty good players. They're even missing. They've played pretty much the entire season without their best player, Markel Sanders, who's been out with a shoulder and foot injury. He's committed to Washington State. He's a guy who hasn't even really played this year, and they're still killing teams.
They're going to have a little bit of work to do here. That timeout taken there by Nathan Hale is I think they wanted to reset some things. Head coach Hoover Hopkins noticing some trends that he wanted to stop immediately. But it's 1st and 28 after the penalty, so a huge turn of events and a costly penalty at that. Here's Reynolds getting harassed early but dumps it off. Jarvis, he likes to run with it after the catch, and he's got an open lane. Down the sideline he'll go all the way for the score. Eastside Catholic.
What is that, 69 yards?
69 yards on the carry.
That was a huge play, and what they did was right there what you saw. They had a blitz on off the edge, and Reynolds recognized it, threw right into the blitz, and they had the perfect play call for that and took advantage of it. Jarvis goes 69 yards for a score.
So should have a 15-yard penalty more often and have 1st and 28.
I think Coach Thielbar would have taken 15 yards closer on that. I think he would have taken a 54-yard touchdown instead. But it's a thing that wakes your team up, gets you motivated, and say, look, we don't need to do anything, especially against these guys. Let's just get out there and play. We don't need to hit them after the whistle. We don't need to get silly penalties. Let's just go out and play and see what we're able to do.
And Jacob Gay will be on for the point after try. He has 38 of these already on the year for this high-powered Crusader offense. Snap is down, the kick is up, and it is good. So with 10:21 to go in the first quarter, the opening drive of the game, Crusaders hit pay dirt on a 69-yard catch and run from Trey Reynolds to Henry Jarvis. And for Reynolds, that is his 12th passing touchdown of the year. For Jarvis, his second receiving.
Yeah, and there you just saw the athleticism, speed, and the good game planning and scheming that Thielbar does with his guys. He knows how to get his guys out in open space. He knows how to use them how he wants, and he knows how to get the best out of his linemen. So something to keep an eye on. How will Nathan Hale make the adjustment to get outside and really prevent Eastside Catholic from using their speed?
And you talk a little bit about what's on the line. It's the Metro Division, or it's the Metro League Championship between the Sound Division champs, the Raiders, and the Crusaders, the Mountain Division champs. The winner of this one is slated to take on the winner of the Oak Harbor Meadowdale game that's taking place today. If all our calculations are correct and everything that we've seen. And the loser of this one, still in the playoffs, will get the Narrows number 3, which is probably either North Thurston or Shelton. So both teams in the playoffs. This is about a championship and pride.
Yeah, and one thing about Meadowdale is they are a good team, but suffered a couple losses late and fell out of the top 10. So they're a team that's going to be kind of hungry once they get to the playoffs. So something that Eastside Catholic or Nathan Hale, whoever wins this game, is going to have to worry about.
Yeah, and they have a little tough road to go against Oak Harbor today just to get to that point, too. So they might be looking at Oak Harbor the way things are going.
Yes.
Kickoff into the end zone, yet another one by Jacob Gay. That is his 11th touchback of the year. And this will be the Raiders' offense coming out here, led by Winston Halameems. He's got Aaron Mandel, Aiden Gold, and Malik Alexander in the backfield with him as they run out of the wing tee here, and we'll have to wait a moment for the first play. False start on the Raiders, not what they wanted to have on their opening possession.
Looked like one of the slot backs, wing backs, moved a little bit early on that one right before they snapped the ball.
The big test for Nathan Hale earlier was a close, hard-fought victory over Rainier Beach. That's what sprung them to their division championship. That one came down to the bitter end on a Hail Mary interception to preserve that one. Undefeated in league. Their lone loss to Roosevelt, a team that's going to make some noise in the 4A playoffs this year. Little fake on the handoff, and the attempt by Halameems is incomplete. He was looking to the near side, trying to find Colton Cairo, a 6-foot junior that could not hang on to it.
Yeah, Cairo's a good-looking athlete. I liked watching him in pregame. I've heard a lot about him as far as his abilities as a playmaker. But the thing about Nathan Hale is they're not going to throw the ball a lot. They like to run it. They like to grind things out. But when you fall behind early, the way they did, that could be trouble.
Again, operating out of that wing T formation, in motion goes Aiden Gold. Here's Halameems looking to the air again. They like to throw out of the set, nearly picked off. And there would have been a lot of running room there for the Crusaders. Luke Latanzio, who is well known for his interceptions. He already has 5 this year.
Yeah, Colin Davies and Malik Alexander were both in the same place right there. I don't know if it was a mix-up in the route and the throw, if one of them was rerouted, whatever it was. That isn't supposed to happen. You're not supposed to have two receivers that close to each other.
Latanzio, a rare drop on an interception try this year. Here's a handoff on the inside on 3rd and long. They'll get some yardage, but not enough. And not the way they wanted to start out, with going 5 yards backward before they could even run their first play, and then a couple of incompletions.
Good play there by David Hurdle to tackle him for little to no gain. He actually did end up getting about 7 yards on that, but was able to tackle him and keep them from getting the first down. And now they should, Eastside Catholic, as long as they field this properly, they should have pretty good field position.
They should have really good field position. Here's a high boot by the Raider punter. It's fielded well short, though. A lot of height, but not a lot of yardage out of it. As fielding it there, Luke Latanzio, as we mentioned him a moment ago, he's got good abilities to return, but he didn't need to that time.
Yeah, good job by the Nathan Hale punter. That was almost over his head. I think he's about 6'3", and he used every inch of that height to get that ball down, and then got a good, considering the circumstances, got a pretty good punt off, too.
Well, they're going to take care of this one at the Raider 44, and that's where the Crusaders' high-powered offense will start up once again with Trey Reynolds and Henry Jarvis behind him. Quickly, Reynolds looking to the right side's got a man wide open for the catch. Johnny Mahalik, the leading receiver for the Crusaders, the first down and more.
Yeah, 16-yard gain, and Nathan Hale is going to have to figure out that they cannot play off of this team because Trey Reynolds will just throw short passes all day and let his receivers do the work. They have a lot of athletic guys out at wide receiver for Eastside Catholic, and that's something that Nathan Hale is definitely going to have to deal with.
Mahalik coming into the game, 22 receptions, 347 yards, averaging 15.8, and he gets 16 there, so right on the average. Here's Reynolds again. Looking long, he's got a man, complete touchdown, Justin Musser. 29 yards in the air.
And that was just a beautifully thrown pass by Trey Reynolds right there. Had Justin Musser going right down the seam, ran right by the safety who was trying to cover him and threw it up for grabs, and Musser came down with it.
And with 9:12 to go in this opening quarter, Eastside Catholic already in front 13-0, and Jacob Gay. We'll see if they go for this 2-point conversion. It looks like they might try, and they will. They got a read that they wanted. A wide open man in the end zone, nearly dropped, but he hangs on to it. I believe that was Musser again.
And that's when you know everything's going right for you, when your guy almost drops a wide open pass, but he still is able to bring it in.
And with 9:12 to go, it's now 15-0. That's just one of those setups where you got to defend that properly, otherwise they're going to take advantage. And with a wide open receiver, there was a breakdown.
Yeah, and that's you see Oregon and some of these college teams doing this a lot. They're happy to take free points if you're going to give it to them. Nathan Hale has to tighten that up and realize, hey, we need to get our guys out there and cover that, so that all we're doing is holding them to 1 point instead of giving them 2.
So Musser, who had a catch or two on the opening drive, finds the end zone this time, courtesy of Reynolds on that 29-yard strike. And Reynolds, who came into this one with 11 touchdown passes against just 2 interceptions, already has 2 scoring passes, 1 on the catch and run, a long one, and this one here on a nice 29-yarder in the air all the way. Coming off a good week against Blanchette. The victory last week where he completed 61 of his passes on 11 of 18 passing. 3 touchdown strikes in that one, and he's almost equalized here in just the first few minutes of the first quarter.
Yeah, Trey Reynolds is an athletic guy and really causes a problem for defenses. When I watched their game against O'Day had to spy him all night, and it didn't matter. He still rushed for about 80 yards, threw for about 200, and really caused the Irish a lot of problems.
This is Aiden Gold on the return. Had to go way back to get it, and he's met hard just past the 20-yard line.
And right there, Eastside Catholic. I walked down on the field, Alex, right before our broadcast, and I said to you, I'm going to go down and say hey to Coach Thielbar, and he's a pretty happy-go-lucky coach, happy to talk about things. He just shook my hand, was very cordial, but he wasn't into talking. He wanted to get out and get this game played, and I think the intensity of Coach Thielbar is really what's spurring this team on to play as well as they are right out of the gate.
Thielbar, former tight end, H-back type for the Washington State University Cougars a while back. And his team just picking up on the aggression as they meet the running back, Aiden Gold, in the backfield. Stopped him before he could get anywhere.
Yeah, right there you just see huge penetration by Eastside Catholic. And there, Nathan Hale is just not able to handle the speed and athleticism of this team. They've got 2 guys up front, Dion Latui and Elisha Paaga, two underclassmen, a junior and a sophomore, and they both weigh almost 300 pounds, and they're almost impossible to move off the ball, and then they just throw other athletes in that can run around.
Halameem's dropping back to pass on 2nd down and 16, and this one airmailed near the sideline. His receiver, Gadisa Margarza.
We knew you were going to have problems with that one.
Hey, I got my pronouncer here. Thanks so much for that. But, again, for Hale, they pinned themselves back on their opening drive with a penalty. This time they get met in the backfield on 1st down. They've not had any luck on the first couple of plays of the drive, setting up for the 2nd consecutive drive, a big 3rd and long.
Well, here you can see, Eastside Catholic averages 300 pounds, almost 300 pounds. Nathan Hale averages about 230.
Well, Halameem's completes his first pass, but it's not going to be for nearly enough. Short gain of about 4, and that'll bring up 4th down for the Raiders again.
Yeah, and right there, that's for Eastside Catholic. You just want to sit back. You want to let them complete a pass in front of you and then make the tackle. They made the sure tackle, and now they get him in a long 4th and long. They're going to get ball in great position once again.
This is not a customary spot for the Raiders this year to find themselves down. Only loss to Roosevelt, and in the one close game that they've had so far this season, they led big at halftime. Whoa, big hit near the 50-yard line. Huge hit by the Raiders on that bouncing punt. Not a good punt. Excellent hit.
Mike Hodges blew up number 22 for Eastside Catholic, Matt Laris, and woo, man, that was a hit.
That'll clear you out.
And that could have really changed the game right there if Nathan Hale hadn't been able to come up with that. But as it is, they were able to put Eastside Catholic back a bit further, and Eastside Catholic's now going to start on their own side of the field.
Well, and this is the tough situation right now if you're the Raiders, is the Crusaders keep getting the ball in excellent field position, and while they are in their side of the field, it's near midfield, and this is a license to score early and often, and they've already done the early part, and they're trying to keep the often part going. Trey Reynolds captaining that team out there with 2 receivers to either side. Gets it out of the shotgun, looking short, complete to Mahalik, who's close to another first down. It's going to be just a little bit short, I think.
Yeah, 9-yard gain right there, but that's just easy pitch and catch. That's not even really a read for Reynolds from the standpoint of really having to read the defense. That's a pre-snap read. Just, hey, the guy's 10 yards off. Well, I'm going to throw this out there and let my guy make a play.
Mahalik with touchdowns in 6 of his 8 games this year. You know he's looking for one here. Musser already with a score. Jarvis already with a score. Reynolds surveying the scene with the no-huddle offense. Again, out of the shotgun. Looking near side. Mahalik could not handle.
Great job there by Danny Campbell, one of the linebackers, 5'11", 182, but got his mitts up there and knocked the ball down for the first incompletion for Reynolds.
The Crusaders have had a fantastic season this year, coming off of a campaign that had it turned up short in the playoffs in Jeremy Thielbar's first year as head coach. They were blasted by Bellevue, as has been the case for many a challenger of the Wolverines. But the Crusaders trying to make another case here to get into the postseason with a strong outing. They're undefeated, ranked as high as second in the state of Washington, just behind those Bellevue Wolverines. And, you know, they would no doubt love to get another shot at the Bellevue club in the postseason. This one is complete for the first down, and the Crusaders continuing to roll.
All season, the top 3 teams in 3A have been Mount Side, Bellevue, and Eastside Catholic. And so far this year, we haven't seen other teams do very much to combat to dispel that rule.
They have all been right there in the midst of things. In fact, Mount Side's only loss coming at the hands of Bellevue, and that's the only loss between those 3 teams, the power programs there right now in the 3A, and we'll see how things settle into the playoffs as those begin next week. Colin Bolt on the receiving end of that 5-yard catch. A long way to go for 5 yards, but it's 2nd and 5 now with 6:14 still to go in the first quarter. Already a 15-0 lead for the Crusaders, and they're rolling again. This one complete to Musser, who's got a hit, I believe, his 4th catch of the night already. It's good for a first down, about 12 yards on the completion from Trey Reynolds. Yeah, was on his game.
Yeah, that is actually the 3rd reception for him. He actually did have 4 catches, but it was brought back by that personal foul penalty. So, but, you know, Eastside Catholic has really got it rolling, and Thielbar has just given up on the run and just said, hey, if they're not going to cover our receivers, I'm just going to throw them out there, let them get 5-yard gains every time. That'll be just like a long handoff for us.
And you've got a quarterback out there that's completing nearly 70% of his passes this year, and after this game and after some of the yardage thus far is approaching the 1,000-yard mark. Reynolds to the air again, wide open and complete. Colin Bolt is still on his feet. The Raiders finally bring him down, but not before he gets inside the 10.
13-yard gain again there, and they're really picking on this right side where they're really working it, and they've got a safety over there who's a little gimpy, limping around a little bit, and they're taking advantage of it right now, and that's what you do in football. You find the mismatches and you exploit them.
Jack McIntyre's the corner on that side, a 6'1" senior, 170-pounder. He's going against Bolt on the near side. And a little cadence mishap there, chicanery, as the Raiders jumping over.
And that's the Raiders right now are on their heels. They're trying to be more aggressive and make Eastside Catholic play their game instead of them playing Eastside Catholic. But Eastside Catholic is just so much bigger, so much more athletic, and it's just really showing right now. What Nathan Hale is really going to have to do is they're going to have to come up with a play. They've got some pretty good players. They've held strong against the run inside. They've only been 2 rushes by Eastside Catholic, but you got to short up outside.
It's amazing the weight differential amongst the line. Here's Jarvis with the carry, and he's into the end zone as he uses that line to his advantage. A 5-yard score, and Jarvis getting in.
I mean, Alex, we're not even 7 minutes into this game, and it's 21. Well, it's 21-0, and could be 22 here in just a moment. This is something where Nathan Hale has really got to bow up, as they like to say, strap on those helmets and say, hey, we can get back into this. We got plenty of time. Just need to not put our head down, start off at 0-0.
Jacob Gay putting the big right foot into this one for the score. Drills it off the scoreboard in the building back there. But with 5:23 left to go in the first quarter, it is all Eastside Catholic. The Crusaders up 22-0 on the Raiders, who are still trying to look for the license plate on the truck that just is driving over them right now, because they have not been able to get out of their own way on offense.
Yeah, Eastside Catholic is just dominating both sides of the line. Nathan Hale hasn't been able to do anything. They like to run the ball and set up the pass, something they haven't been able to do all night. You can see the coaches over there pulling their guys together, saying, hey, guys, let's just make sure we keep playing this thing as hard as we can. Just forget about the first, almost 7 minutes of this game. Don't worry about what the score is. Just go out and play. Play as hard as you can. Make plays when you get the opportunity, and we'll see what happens.
Well, when we talk about that size differential, the Raider defensive front, 147 pounds, 165 pounds, 162 pounds, 156 pounds. The offensive line for the Crusaders, 270, 250, 260, 260, 285.
Yeah, and
I was a communication graduate, but that math does not add up.
No,
well.
It doesn't, not at all. And the thing is, Christian Shigley is a offensive lineman that's going to be going and playing for Harvard next year.
Yep.
You've got Trey Reynolds, who can go out there and run around. You've got all these wide receivers that they can throw at you. You've got Jarvis, who can run the ball, can hurt you both receiving and running the ball. It's not really fair. It's not an even matchup at this point, and Eastside Catholic is doing what they need to do.
Well, the Crusaders have worked their way out to a 22-0 lead here in this Metro Championship 3A classification. Glad you could join us here on this final Friday night of the regular season. Here's the kick fielded at the 5, and the Raiders trying to get something going. They may have something going. Finally brought down is Aaron Mandel on that return, all the way out to the 33, and that's where the Raiders will set up shop with their best field position thus far.
Good blocking by the Raiders on that return. Mandel was able to exploit the hole. One of the Eastside Catholic players got shoved out of his lane, and which opened up a huge hole for him, and he took advantage of it, giving him good field position. Now let's see what they can do here offensively.
And Mandel is one of those guys, a couple of guys going both ways as a running back and as the strong safety. Here's the dive play, and it gets a couple of yards. First positive yardage on a first down play for the Raiders so far. This is their third drive already, and the first time they've gotten positive yardage.
Yeah, and something that'll give them some encouragement. Now you go out, okay, you're 2nd and 8. Let's try and get this down. Let's try and get at least 4 or 5 more yards so we can get our 3rd and manageable here, where it gives them more options.
Now to the wing tee again. They fake the dive, and coming around to the near side and getting drilled, I believe, is Malik Alexander. The junior running back, just 5'10", 178 pounds, met by a trio of white shirts.
Yeah, trio of white shirts, and he also had pursuit from the backside by number 59, who we don't even have on our list here. But the linebacker there for Eastside Catholic, who came around and made the play.
3rd down and 10. Raiders still looking for their first down. 4:04 to go in the first quarter. Screenplay set up, but it had some legs to it, but they just could not connect. Hale could not find Aiden Gold, just a little bit behind him, but for good reason.
Yeah, Elisha Paaga and another player were in on him pretty quickly. Didn't allow the thing to set up, and Hale Eames wasn't able to get the ball out to the running back, and that did, like you said, it did look like it was set up to go for a long ways if they could have completed it.
So the Raiders on to punt once again. Back deep is Luke Latanzio for the Crusaders. Good snap this time, and the boot up in the air is short and bouncing. Latanzio will pick it up and get out of bounds. Jimmy Bowden, the punter, able to get rid of that one that time for the Raiders. But they would like to do less punting and get into running their offense and getting into sync. That's just the one thing they haven't been able to do yet.
Yeah, and you know, they weren't even able to run a whole 2 minutes off of the clock right there. So this just gives Eastside Catholic another chance to get out here and get some points going.
3:50 to go in the first quarter. 22-0 at the venerable Memorial Stadium here in the shadow of the Space Needle on what is a traditional Friday night weather-wise in the Pacific Northwest. It was raining earlier. It has appeared to cease for the moment, but could start at any time. Temperatures starting in the low 50s will work their way down into the 40s throughout the course of the evening. 4 wideouts again for the Crusaders as Reynolds barking the signals. And he will fire across and complete to Justin Musser, breaking tackles, 2 of them, and finally gets out of bounds. But not before he enters Raider territory with yet another Crusader first down.
Yeah, another 16-yard gain, and one where Musser would have still caught the pass, but he wouldn't have got a first down if they had made the first tackle. But he's so big and so strong that he was able to just bust out of that tackle attempt and able to get down for another 8 yards.
Musser started the game with 11 receptions this season, already with 4. Crusaders getting cut down as a nice play from Devin Tautolo, the defensive end, knifing in to trip up the running back, Jarvis.
Yeah, first negative play really for Eastside Catholic other than the 15-yard penalty.
It'll bring up 2nd down and 12, loss of 2. Here's Reynolds again, looking and finding his man complete. Colin Bolt has this one close to a first down, think he's got it. Probably got about 13 yards on 2nd and 12.
Yeah, and right there you just see he doesn't really, this isn't even the secondary's problem at this point. Nathan Hale just isn't getting any pressure on Reynolds, and he's just able to sit back there and pick him apart.
And Reynolds will go again, this time with a handoff. Jarvis looking for some running room. Check that. This is Brandon Wellington now in the game as the sophomore carrying 6-foot, 200-pounder. And he gets a nice chunky yardage. It'll be 8 yards on the carry, 2nd down and 2 with 2:43 to go in the first quarter, and the Crusaders on the drive.
Huge run on first down, was able to break a couple tackles and keep the pile moving. And I think now we're going to see a timeout by Nathan Hale. They just really have to regroup and figure out what they're going to do to stop this team from rolling.
Well, I think they might be a little bit winded as a couple of guys like Aaron Mandel going both ways, as well as Aiden Gold, both in the defensive backfield as well as the running backfield. And right now I don't think those guys have come off for a blow. And the Crusaders just kind of running their show. That last carry by Wellington, good for about 8 yards, and he's on a 7.3-yard average. These guys are just doing what they do.
Yeah, and they're going for a hurry-up, too, which also really puts a lot of stress on the defense as well. And it's something that you see a lot of pro teams doing. New England's really kind of been the driving force behind the speed-up offense. So is Oregon. Oregon's been really big at the college level in getting that speed-up offense. And as somebody who follows the Huskies and the Washington Huskies and covers them and watches a lot of their games, I've seen what Oregon and Arizona just this last week can do to a defense when they just go to this hurry-up style, when they're getting a snap off every 10 seconds, and that just puts so much pressure on the defense. It doesn't let them get a breath. It barely lets them even get a call in.
Well, that is the second timeout used by Nathan Hale already, and we still have just a little under 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Showing blitz, then dropping off. Reynolds finds the open man, nearly dropped it, but hang on. Is Hayden Meyer, the tight end, with his 10th reception of the season.
And right there, Mandel had a chance to at least make the pick or strip the ball, but wasn't able to do it. Meyer gets through and gets a nice 20-yard gain.
Don't see a lot of tight end in this wide-open offense for the Crusaders, but they get it there. Here's Wellington on the carry. Penalty flag is down as Wellington still trying to get away from the Raiders, but he can't as he's rolled under back at the 20-yard line. They strung that one out. Good defense for the Raiders to keep Wellington in check.
And Wellington's kind of their speed guy, whereas Jarvis is their grinded out in between the tackles guy. But on that play, you just got to turn it up and get whatever yards you can instead of trying to string it out. And on that one, you saw what happened.
And the penalty is against the Crusaders in the neighborhood of holding.
Good pursuit by Nathan Hale, though. You got to give him credit for that. They fought off the blocks. They got pursuit from the backside, so he couldn't cut back, and that's what prevented them from getting a big gain. Besides that, there was a penalty. It wouldn't have mattered if he got outside anyway.
5-yard penalty on that one. They got it all squared away. 2nd down and 15. Again, Reynolds barking, trying to get the Raiders off sides, then looks over to the bench as they look to see if they want to adjust the play at all. Reynolds back with the call. Side again, and just a little too long as he was looking for Johnny Mahalik again.
First really bad pass that Reynolds has thrown tonight. That's only his 2nd incompletion. He's 10 of 12 right now.
That's kind of good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. 10 of 12 for about 90 yards.
And Reynolds came into the game with 815 yards passing on the season, so up over 900 and looking for 1,000 here perhaps this evening the way things are going. Under 2 minutes to go first quarter. Reynolds looking end zone. That was easy. Complete. Touchdown, Colin Boyd. 17-yard strike.
Man. 17 yards, and that's almost just too easy. That's like sandlot football right there.
And for Reynolds, his 3rd score of the night. He now has 14 on the year. And here comes the try for point. They're not going to spread it out. They're just going to keep it basic here for Jacob Gay to try and line it up and drill it through. Always interesting when the quarterback is the holder, as is the case here. And this one is up, and it is good. So with 1:52 to go in the opening quarter, Eastside Catholic with a 29-0 lead.
Okay, and I was, you had mentioned you were a communications major. Well, so was I. I said he had 90 yards. He's actually got 217. 10 of 12, 217 yards with 3 touchdowns.
I was going to say, yeah, there was that catch and run, which is a little deceptive because that was just a short flare on that first touchdown of the game, going for 69 yards. But yeah, he is pushing that 1,000-yard mark or over it, and we're still 1:52 left to go in the first quarter.
In the first quarter, yeah, that's the scary part. So they're at 29 points right now, and in the WIAA, as soon as you get to that magic 40-point total with a
differential.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know how to say that. Thank you. The 40-point differential, that's when you get a running clock, and that's when the team from behind really doesn't have a chance.
Yeah, and I think they actually lowered that number from I think 48 or 46 down to 40, and it's one of those things where you can't fall too far behind, otherwise they will take advantage of that opportunity. But right now, what does Hale need to do in order to stabilize this game?
Well, you really need to get a first down, because they haven't even gotten a first down yet. They've gone 3 and out 3 straight times, and that's just something you can't do, not against this team. But, don't fault Nathan Hale completely, because they're playing a very talented and a very good and well-coached team.
Here's a line drive kick bouncing and finally fielded way back there. And on the return come the Raiders, nearly busting it. That was, again, Aaron Mandel, and he just pounds the turf because he knew he had some open territory in front of him.
Yeah, right there. The touchdown-saving tackle was Matt Kvetch, who made that play right there. Otherwise, Mandel goes in for a score because I think he outruns that kicker.
And that might have been just the spark the Raiders needed, but nonetheless, they get a good return and decent field position out at the 31-yard line. But you're right. What they need here is to try and find themselves a first down and just try to break the Crusader rhythm right now.
At this point, oh, geez.
And that's not what you need to start.
Illegal substitution?
We'll have to see if that's on the Raiders.
Oh, no.
Is it against the Crusaders?
Yeah. Well, he pointed that way.
And they will take that. It's unfortunately become all too common for the Raiders to have a little misstep at the beginning of a drive that we get that assumption there. But this time it was the Crusaders, and this might be the help that Hale needs to try and get headed in the right direction in this one.
Yeah, and if you're head coach Hoover Hopkins for Hale, you're telling your guys, stop looking big picture. Let's just take it a play at a time. Let's make some plays when we got the opportunity and see what we can get rolling.
The dive play picks up maybe a little bit. And the Raiders will have to go back to the drawing board. They pick up a yard, they'll call it. But really, it is seniors Aaron Mandel and junior quarterback Winston Hale, as well as Aiden Gold, a senior running back. They've had a lot to do for this team. Nice handoff in the middle. This one's going to get a couple. It'll bring up 3rd and short.
And right there, Paaga comes off the edge, stays with his key, makes the tackle, and doesn't let him get ahead of steam. Still was able to gain about 2 yards on that, give him a short 3rd and 2. And this could be their first down of the day, and that's something that could really give them some encouragement.
Well, again, the size differential we talked about on the defensive line for the Raiders against the Crusader offense is also the same here for the Raider offensive line. They're going to have to try and out-quick them somehow or try to find a way to get him to move. Almost got him to jump there with the cadence. Finally get the handoff, and this one might be enough for the first down. Good carry on the dive, and I think that'll be enough for the Raiders' first down as time starts to wind down in this first quarter.
Yeah, it looks like they're eyeing it right now. Still haven't made the call yet. Oh,
and
there
it goes. There we go. And that might be the last play of this first quarter as the clock now ticking down 7, 6, 5. And the Raiders thinking they want to run it. And the clock pauses for a moment. Then they blow the whistle to finally get it going. A little clock hijinks there. But at the end of one quarter, it's been, as many anticipated, the Crusaders of Eastside Catholic rolling thus far as they've limited the Raiders of Nathan Hale to very little thus far in this game. And Hale picking up their first down. Let's see if they can get another one here when we start the second quarter.
Yeah, they really do need to get a first down, get some more first downs, get some things rolling a little bit on offense. Give their defensive guys, although most of them are playing both ways, it's not something that where they can get a lot of rest.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the Play On Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP. So the Raiders and the Crusaders flop ends here. And the Raiders hoping that the luck of the left to right will stay with them here as the Crusaders, all the scoring has gone in one direction.
At this point, I think they'd take anything, and that's something you got to look for. But, Eastside Catholic, if they continue to play sound football, it's going to be very hard for Nathan Hale to even get back in this game.
Now to the wing tee once again. Little fake on the dive. The handoff this time. Aiden Gold around right end. Little bit there. Maybe a yard.
Great play there off the edge by the cornerback for Eastside Catholic, who was actually being blocked by William O'Keefe, one of the guards, shedded him and was able to make the play. That was Matt Laris, and that's just something that can't happen if you're Nathan Hale. You have to get that block because there was open territory out past that.
Now call it no gain, 2nd and 10. Little fake on the handoff. Halameems will carry himself and is met right at the line of scrimmage as he took a little too long getting around the end, but staying at home defensively were the Crusaders.
And they're 3rd and long, and this is not their down. This is not something that Nathan Hale's offense is built for.
3rd and 9. Breaking the huddle early, Ethan Phillips, the center. Just a sophomore at 5'11", 228, and he's the largest guy on that offensive line. Halameems, little rollout here, looking deep. Got some guys, but there were some white shirts in the area as well, and this time I think it was Kalani Valu, who might have had a shot at the interception.
And right there you had Gadisa Magarsa and Malik Alexander in the same spot. That's something that you just can't have. You know, not that it made really a lot of a difference because it was underthrown, but you cannot have those receivers like that. They need to have better spacing.
Jimmy Bowden will be back for the punt. Luke Latanzio will be back to receive it.
One point I wanted to make was that's what happens when you have a predominantly running team is they aren't very good at long down and distance like that.
Latanzio going the wrong way, almost tripped up back there, but is trying to get forward for a few yards, and I think he'll pick up about 5 or so, maybe 6 on the return after running about a quarter mile. However, a penalty flag back at the 36.
Either a hold or running into the kicker, I don't know.
As the officials sort some things out. We'll see what they have for us here. A holding against the Crusaders.
But it's still first down.
They'll retain possession.
The only
we'll mark back.
Sorry about that. The only time that would really take effect is if they had held somebody before the kick, before the change of possession. That's the only time it would ever really affect who has the ball.
Well, we're talking about that previous play, that third down play. I think one of the optimistic points for the Raiders is they had a couple of guys past the defense. They were beating the defenders, the defensive backs, and had some openings.
Yeah.
Had that been led a little bit better, who knows?
Yeah, and now the question is, can Eames get it that far? And that's something that we have yet to see. But honestly, they need to regroup over there. Hallam Eames needs to get with his coaches and say, what do we need to do? What can we do to counter this juggernaut that we've run into?
Ball at the 16. This is the worst starting field position of the night for Eastside Catholic, and they'll go right to the running game. This is Jarvis, I believe, with the first down, carrying guys with him. Yep, Henry Jarvis, who had a couple of stellar outings early on in September against Seattle Prep here. 20 carries for 143 yards. Also went over 100 yards back on September 22nd against Bainbridge. That one of the few carries he's seen thus far in the Crusader offense, which has delighted in their passing so far. Reynolds again, finding the open receiver, Johnny Mahalik, close to another first down.
And it looks like it's going to be about a yard short, but again, you just see more of the same. Nathan Hale is happy to let them complete balls in front of him, which is fine, but they're just going to dink and dunk you until you come up and play that. And then the problem is they're probably going to run by you. So you just really need to figure out how to bow up and make plays.
9:31 to go. Second down and 1, more like about a half a yard. Reynolds giving to Jarvis, spinning from one defender, evades another one, has the first down and more. Finally shoved out of bounds inside the 25-yard line. That was reminiscent of some of Chris Berman's best works with the whoop and the oop. Oh, my goodness. Evaded at least 3 defenders on that run.
Yep.
33-yard pickup.
Yeah, I was just going to say 33-yard pickup, and on that, a lot of that was on his own. I mean, obviously you got to have some blocking, but he made a lot of those guys miss.
9:12 to go in the second quarter of play. 1st and 10 from the 24. Reynolds rolling out, 3 receivers in the pattern on that right side. Finally unloads, has it complete on the sideline, and you're going to be close to another first down. No, they definitely have the first down. That time finding the tight end, Hayden Meyer again. Meyer, the 6', 220-pound senior. Again, just 9 receptions coming into the game already with 2 tonight.
And on that play, Reynolds wanted him earlier, but the linebacker from Nathan Hale dropped right back into where he was going to throw it. So because of his threat of running, it pulled the linebacker up, and then he was able to throw the ball over the linebacker.
Well, that's the thing, is Reynolds is a second leading rusher for the Crusaders, so you know he's got some abilities. Trips to the bottom of the screen. Hale showing blitz. They bring some guys, but Reynolds able to beat it, but he almost had his man in there. Good defense from the Raider D. Jack McIntyre, the corner, staying right with the receiver, able to deflect it.
Yeah, and that was Boyd right there, who was unable to come up with the ball, but Reynolds put it right where he needed to. It was right on the numbers. It just bounced off of him.
2nd down and 10, as the Crusaders have not had many things go the wrong way tonight. That was one of the few missteps thus far. 3 receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top. Reynolds looking to the top of the screen to the corner, and this one nearly intercepted. Oh, my goodness. McIntyre could not hang on, but what a play it would have been for the senior corner.
Yeah, right there. Mandel gets in his face, gets some pressure on him, causes him to throw the ball off the target a little bit, and McIntyre had the chance. They got to come up with plays like that, but you still live. Right now, it's 3rd down, 10 to go. They have a chance to hold this team to a field goal, and you have to consider that a victory if you're the coaches.
And it's a veteran defensive backfield with 3 seniors and 1 junior for the Raiders back there. Same formation as last time. Jarvis the lone setback. Reynolds, the senior quarterback, eyeing the right side of the end zone again. This time it's complete. He's got his guy. Touchdown, Crusaders.
And just
Peter Kimball.
Yeah, that was 3 straight passes where they threw right at McIntyre, who had a chance to make a play, didn't, and then he paid for it because they were able to get it into to Kimball for the touchdown.
10-yard scoring strike from Reynolds to Kimball. And Reynolds now with 4 touchdown passes on the night. And there's still lots of time in this second quarter. Here's Jacob Gay for the point after try. And it is up, and it is good. So with 8:36 to go in the first half, Eastside Catholic rolling over Nathan Hale 36-0.
And if you're Coach Thielball right now, you want to keep your guys' heads in this game. Hey, we got a big lead. This is a good team. Nathan Hale is a solid team. I don't think they've come out and shown what they could do. I just think Eastside Catholic is really hitting on all cylinders, and you've seen what they can do with their size, athleticism, the coaching that they have, and with Trey Reynolds pulling the trigger on this team. And he might not even be the best passer on this team. That's a scary thing.
They do have several guys that they have used this year. Blake Maimone has seen some time, but Carly Hirsch, the youngster, just a freshman, who won a couple of games while Reynolds was recuperating, he's a good one.
Yeah, Harley Kirsch is a great-looking freshman. He's a guy he's already about 6'3", I believe. 200 pounds, can run a little bit, has the ball, can get the ball out and throw it. And Coach Steelbar really likes his potential. He loves the fact that Blake Mamone is also in their system. He's a guy who could go out and start for you, but he's also a valuable backup who can really run the scout team for you.
Peter Kimball, who just had that touchdown reception, it's his 3rd of the year. And for Trey Reynolds, as we mentioned, 4 already on the night. He now has 15 on the season. And here's the kick. It's a little bit awkward. Line drive bouncer. They try to keep the Raiders from getting a good return on this one, but they are persistent. As again, Aaron Mandel carrying a lot of the load as he gets the rock to the middle of the field about the 25-yard line, but a penalty flag down.
Addison Hull right there made a great play. Sophomore, 5'8", 160 pounds. Made a great play on special teams. And that's another thing that you've got to like from Coach Steelbar, and seeing how his system is running. You're able to get some playing time for some of these younger guys to get valuable experience. So next year, when they have to replace seniors, they're ready to go.
Penalty flag is against Nathan Hale. It'll march him back a few yards. This one's a good one. Back about 10 yards to the 16, and that's where Hale will start things out here, trying to dig themselves out of a 36-0 disadvantage against one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the state of Washington. And a huge hit on Halameems, but a nice completion or near completion as the intended receiver, Colton Cairo, couldn't come up with it. That's one you got to have.
It is, because Halameems just got blasted on that play,
and
right in the ribs.
And he is still down right now. The 6'3", 192-pound junior getting hit as he threw, and Halameems will step up and out for the moment. as he will give way to the backup quarterback. Or will he stay in? I think he's going to need a little breather here as he was down on the turf. And the backup quarterback is Jack McIntyre, a 6'1", 170-pound senior who also plays corner. We were just talking about McIntyre playing defensive back just a moment ago. And so he'll have to come in here at least for a play as Hale trying to recatch his breath. So we'll have to see what happens. Center snap always a situation here. They show blitz. A little handoff on the dive. You just kind of go elementary with it with the backup quarterback in for the moment. Minimal gain. It'll be 3rd and long again, and it looks like Hale will make his way back in as he gets the play call on the far side of the field.
Yeah, Cody Baker right there, number 62 for Eastside Catholic. Kid I love. He's only a sophomore. He's, 6'4", 240 pounds, can really run, can start both ways if they need him to, but he's mainly been playing defense this year. Love him a lot. Think he's going to be a kid to keep an eye on over the next couple of years.
Good to see Hale get right back in there after missing that one play. He'll drop back here on 3rd and 9, brings it back down, takes to his feet, gets chased by a host of white shirts near the sticks, but is going to be a few yards short. And one of the Crusaders is down on the field back at the 10-yard line.
And I think that might be Cody Baker. Is that the Eklund kiss of death right there?
Yeah, don't do that anymore. Stop talking about guys. Hopefully he will be okay, but an opportunity to remind you that Play On Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at Play On Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. And right now they are tending to the injured player for the Eastside Catholic Crusaders. And the Crusaders will now huddle around over at their bench. The Raiders had gone to their sideline and are now back out on the field. But, one of the things that we've talked about, I think, throughout this entire season is just the precautionary nature of the medical staffs for all of these teams, with all of the attention to head injuries and such. At all levels of football, the NFL, collegiate, and here at high school, it's good to see everybody taking all the precautions necessary.
Yeah, when we called the Inglemore Eastlake game, there was a player who was carted off actually, and it ended up just being that he got his bell rung. Luckily, it was something that wasn't too serious and stuff. But they are, like we've said before, they take way more precaution than might be necessary because they want to make sure that these athletes are taken care of, because they're not just football players. These are kids.
Yep.
And they have a long future ahead of them. And you don't want it to be because of a game that they eliminate. They're eliminated from that.
Here's the punt on its way from the Raiders. Latanzio calling for the fair catch, bobbles it, can't get on it. Does he get on it? I think he does at the 49, and now a penalty flag thrown on the near side at midfield. We'll have to see what this one is.
This might be a block in the back by the man protecting him, but honestly, I think they'll take just the ball wherever they get it right now. They're lucky to get that back. Latanzio has had a couple fumbles now, muffs on punts, although one was from getting just belted by one of the Raiders. But honestly, this is something that this is where you can really see the mettle of your team on both sides of the ball. From Nathan Hale, you can say to yourself, all right, I want to see how my guys play, who keeps playing hard, no matter how bad this game gets, no matter how out of the game we are, who keeps playing hard, who keeps hustling, because that'll give you an idea. And as far as Eastside Catholic, Coach Thielbar wants these guys to realize, hey, we don't take our foot off the gas until I tell you to, all right? And we need to put these guys away, make sure we can get this, because when you get the chance to put away any team, regardless of who it is, O'Day, Bellevue, Mount Si, teams that they could face later in this playoffs, they need to be able to put them away.
Penalty flag is on Eastside Catholic. They'll mark them back 5, and then they'll still have it in good field position at their own 44. Reynolds to the air immediately, finds his man, who's met immediately by the Raiders defense. And
Mandel
the Raiders
actually got
think
the
they
ball,
may have gotten the ball, but it was after
dead.
the play.
Yeah, they blew it dead. Mandel stripped it, but they had blown the whistle before he stripped it.
And you know what? If you're Hoover Hopkins, that's exactly what you want to see out of your Raider team. No quit. This is a team that's only lost once this year to a team in the 4A classification, Roosevelt, that's had a great year this year and is hoping to do some damage in the 4A playoffs. But this is really one of those times where they're not accustomed to this season, and they're going to have to face adversity in the playoffs.
Yeah, all teams do. Bellevue even faces adversity. I know it might not be the same level as other schools, but everybody sees it. You need to see how your team deals with it.
3-yard loss on the play, so 2nd and 13. Handoff to Jarvis. Check that. This is Wellington breaking one tackle. Has himself a first down and a little bit more, but we'll have to see if this one will come back. A penalty flag dropped right in front of the Eastside Catholic bench.
Yeah, and I think they're going to get Johnny Mahalik on a hold right there. And honestly, that was one of the reasons he was able to spring free for another 10 yards, and they got it right at the 50-yard line.
So Crusaders going a little bit in reverse here on this series. They have the huge advantage, though, 36-0. 6.5 minutes about to play here in the first half. Glad you could join us on this last Friday night in the month of October. All Hallows Eve.
Coming up.
My kids keep telling me about it.
My 2-year-old has no idea, but he will in a few years.
Yeah, it won't take very long. Here's Reynolds to the air, wide open. He's got his man Meyer again, breaking tackles, first down and more. Meyer with his 3rd catch of the night.
And if you're Nathan Hale, you're just saying, what do we got to do? You know, we actually get a little bit of penetration, get on Reynolds, but he's able to find the soft spot. He and his tight end are right on the same 5-yard gain out of it.
So they convert on 2nd and 14. So another first down for the Crusaders. 2 receivers either side for Reynolds, and he finds another open receiver, Justin Musser, who's already got a score in this game. He's got about 5, maybe 4.
And you can see the coaches right there telling him to get upfield. Don't just start looking around. Get upfield. That's what we've taught you to do.
2nd and 6 coming up for Eastside Catholic. Undefeated, ranked by many as the number 2 team in the state right now. Some have them 3rd behind Mount Si. Here's the handoff. Wellington with the carry, and he is leveled.
Coming off the edge right there was Jasper Burgett, defensive end, but he's 5'11", 156 pounds, but he is listed as a defensive end.
You know,
and came off the edge and actually beat the block of Meyer and was able to get in and make the play.
Tell you what, that is the testament of the heart when you don't have the size that you can get in there and make that play happen. 3rd down and 6, and Reynolds to the near side. Musser close to the first down.
Boy, it's right on it. It looks like he's got it. They're going to give it to him. It looks like, they're giving it to him.
Lions judge right there, just able to make that call.
But if you're Musser, though, if you're coaching Musser, you say to him, come on, we need you to stretch for that. We need you to go a little bit harder than just kind of tippy-toeing out of bounds.
And the Crusaders quickly on top of the ball after the first down. That no-huddle offense. 3 receivers to the top of the screen. That is Wellington, the lone setback, as Reynolds looking to his slot man. He finds Meyer again. That tight end is really activating out of that slot position, out of that 3-receiver set. And Meyer, he might pass his season total for receptions. Came in with 9. He's got 4 already in the first half. 5:11 to go. 1st and 10 for the Crusaders. 5:11 in the second quarter, we should add. They flip-flop the set this time with 3 receivers to the bottom of the screen. Here is Reynolds evading traffic, directing traffic. He's got a man too tall. He was looking for Meyer again. I don't think they have an answer in coverage for Meyer right now.
They don't. Honestly, they don't have an answer for anybody right now. The Eastside Catholic wide receivers are all bigger than the cornerbacks who are guarding them. Meyer and Musser are 2 bigger guys who play tight end, although it isn't a traditional tight end. But the other thing they don't have is they haven't really gotten any pressure on Reynolds, and when they do, he's able to escape.
And they'll go trips to the bottom of the screen again. Single receiver to the top. Wellington, the lone setback, one more time. Reynolds fakes to the left, now takes to his feet, tries to get past 2 Raiders, and he will not. Picks up a couple on the scramble, then a big penalty flag on the far side of the field. As these officials, I'll tell you what, they work out because that flag goes high in the air. There's no question when those flags are thrown from this crew. And the dead ball personal foul, or dead ball foul anyway, coming up. And it is a personal foul. It is against Eastside Catholic. It will bring up 3rd down and a bundle, as it's 15 yards from the 9.
Was it a dead ball foul?
It was post-possession.
Okay, so it's
post-play. So a dead ball foul indeed. So from the 9 out to the 24. And if anybody can convert this, it's the Eastside Catholic offense.
Especially the way they've been going tonight.
And we're going to have a timeout here. I think it's the first one taken by Eastside Catholic. It is. And with 4:38 to go in the first half, Nathan Hale with 1 remaining. Eastside Catholic with 2 timeouts remaining now. And Eastside Catholic will have to look into their, probably not into a bag of tricks or treats right now, but just into the playbook for a 3rd and 23, because this is the kind of offense that is built for converting 3rd and long. And the way Trey Reynolds has been throwing the ball tonight, already with 4 touchdowns.
He's 19 of 21 for 283 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Wow.
And we still have 4.5 minutes left.
Well, we talked a little bit about the fact that they have a couple of stellar receivers behind him in Mamone and Hirsch, and good bet if things continue the way things are going right now, we might see one or both in the second half.
I have a feeling you'll see a little bit of Mamone and a little bit of
Harley Kirsch.
Harley Kirsch, yeah.
But back to the order of business, which is 3rd down and 23 for Eastside Catholic.
If you're Nathan Hale, you got to get pressure on him, get the ball out of his hands quickly.
4 receivers in the set, 3 to the bottom. Reynolds looking that way, finding Meyer, but too tall, as Hayden Meyer could not come up with it.
And this might be too long to kick. We'll see. They've got a pretty good kicker, but I think they're going to go for it.
Jacob Gay, 5'10", 170-pound kicker, has kicked a bundle of point-after touchdowns. Only 1 field goal this year.
Really? He's got a very good leg, too. That's surprising to me. I think that was in the game that we watched, the Centennial game.
It may very well have been. But he's drilled a ton of kickoffs, about 20% of them for touchbacks. They will go for it here on 4th and 23. They find the receiver complete, trying to set up the screen, got a little bit out in front of it. He's still on his feet at the 19, but it's not going to be enough. Johnny Mahalik with the reception.
And Mahalik needed to take that back inside because his blockers were coming from the inside. He had the coverage there, but just wasn't patient enough. And really, they set themselves up poorly on that one, because that was something that if Trey Reynolds is able to hit Meyer in the backfield, they have their touchdown and aren't even playing offense anymore.
Well, the big 15-yard personal foul is what set them back a bit. And for the Raiders, they'll take it. First time they've stopped the Crusaders offensively. And with 4:25 to go, they'll try to get their own offense going. 1st and 10 out of the wing tee. Halameems with the handoff around the outside. Still looking for it. Then losing the handle. That was Malik Alexander. Did he get it back, though, is the question. And no, he did not. The Crusaders get on it. So, wow. Hale gets the stop, but then they can't hang on to the football in the very next play. And Alexander is slow to get up.
We essentially just had 2 turnovers right there.
Exactly.
Back to back, really. And you know, Nathan Hale bows up, stuffs the run, has a chance to make some plays, and actually had a guy out in the open field and it just gets stripped from him. They didn't have ball security. It's something that you have to stress to your team, and I'm sure Coach Hoover Hopkins has, but it's just something where things are rolling for Eastside Catholic right now, and everything that could go wrong is going wrong for Nathan Hale.
And you know what? It's one of those things that they'll have to think about, just because they'll get into the playoffs next week, and this could happen again against a team not as loaded as Eastside Catholic. They're loaded. with Henry Jarvis. And Jarvis gets the first down and is out of bounds inside the 10.
That little stutter step really froze the defensive back in his tracks, and he was able to get 5 more yards out of that play.
You could hear the stadium here go, ooh, on that move. But again, Nathan Hale may find themselves down with their backs against the wall against an opponent not as loaded as Eastside Catholic, and they're going to need to dig deep and find that layer, find that focus.
And another thing that games like this tell you is, okay, look, we got our butts kicked tonight, but this is where we want to be. We want to be that kind of a team. This is what we have to be like in order to get there.
First and goal from the 9, and Brandon Wellington carrying it in for the score. So Brandon Wellington gets on the board for the second rushing touchdown of the night, joining Henry Jarvis, who had a 5-yard carry in the first quarter. This one comes with an even 4 minutes remaining on the clock in the second quarter.
With Eastside Catholic, it's really hard, and they make it so hard on opposing defenses because who do you choose? You know, who do you take? Who do you take out of the game? Do you take Jarvis out of the game? Well, then you got to deal with Wellington. Do you take Meyer out of the game? You got to deal with Musser. Do you take Kimball out of the game? Then you got to deal with all the other Mahalik and all these other guys.
Jacob Gay for the point after try, and this one is good. That one was awfully close. He's not missed often, if at all, this season. And for the 5th time tonight, or make it the 7th time tonight. Check it, 6th time tonight, because there was that 1 2-point conversion. He drills it through. And with 4 minutes to go in the second quarter, it is Eastside Catholic 43. Nathan Hale still looking for some points.
And if we head to the halftime with this score or more, then we have a running clock, and we have a very short second half because it's running clock for everything except for the break in between quarters. So Nathan Hale needs to score here. They need to figure out a way.
They do. And one of the things that we should take the opportunity to do is realize this is a contest for the Metro Championship. It's not do or die. Both teams will go to the playoffs next week. And if I'm not mistaken, both teams will host games in the playoffs next week. So for both teams, a lot is invested in the fact that this is the Metro Championship. However, they live to play another day regardless of the outcome today.
Yeah, and Eastside Catholic will take on, if the score stays the same for the rest of the way, they'll take the Westco number 4, Meadowdale or Oak Harbor, and the loser of the game, right now it would be Nathan Hale. They would be playing host to either North Thurston or Shelton, which is the Narrows number 3.
Correct, and you know, that's the thing is right now, in some ways, this is an opportunity to really get honed in on what playoff football is about. This one caught again by Nathan Hale, just shy of the goal line, and a lot of pursuit here by the Crusaders as they finally roll under Aaron Mandel. And the Crusaders will have it at their own 24-yard line here. Not the worst field position they've had tonight, but really they've had one first down, and they've really just got to find a way to put a couple together and try to build momentum off of this going into next week.
Yeah, this has been a complete and utter shellacking by Eastside Catholic. Nathan Hale has a good team. They have experienced players. They need to get something going here, give them something positive to build off of, not just for the rest of this game, but for next week, as you mentioned.
Halameem's out of the shotgun. He's deflected here on the pass try as they eschew the wing tee a little bit and go to the wide open offense here. This is a team that, in Nathan Hale, 7-1 this year, undefeated in the Sound Division. They were 5-5 last year. So a team that got into the playoffs, they're hoping for a little bit more. So this a rare loss, or looking like a rare loss for them right now. We've got a penalty flag in the backfield despite the completion and drop. And I think they roughed the passer. Gardisa Margarza on the completion, but they'll get some more.
Hallam Eames has just taken a lot of abuse tonight, and you got to kind of appreciate his guttiness right here. he's got to do something to get this team going. I mean, they had a chance to make a play on a couple other situations, and their players didn't make the play. He's got his guys working at it and doing what they need to do.
3:39 to go in the first half. 1st and 10 now at the 37-yard line after the completion and the penalty for roughing the passer. Hale, he's a guy that you want to keep upright heading into the playoffs next week. All-out blitz here, and it's the nice screenplay set up. Good completion, good gainer, and a good hit. Aiden Gold on the reception and run.
Yeah, and great pursuit on the backside by number 4, Elisha Paaga, who came on the rush, noticed that it was going to be a screen, pursued from the backside, and at 285 pounds was able to track down that wide receiver.
It's hard to imagine at 285 pounds doing much of anything, let alone being in pursuit of a guy much faster than you are. Here's the handoff on the dive. Aaron Mandel, first down and more. Second first down of the night for Nathan Hale, and they're starting to get a little bit of cooking going here. Actually, second first down on the drive. First one on the penalty, but it's the second one that they've earned tonight. Third first down overall. And they're into Eastside Catholic territory.
Yeah, I think this might be the first time on the night, too.
It is. 2.5 now left to go, second quarter. 3 receivers at the top of the screen. And a completion or near completion, a drop. Gadisa Magarsa could not hang on. That would have been a short gainer, but that's what you need to get yourself into second, third, and short manageable.
And that's his second big drop, and something you can't have. I mean, when you're trying to come back, when you're trying to get positive things, he didn't even have coverage on him. He didn't have anybody within 5 yards of him.
Hale has just taken a lot of abuse back there from the defensive front of Eastside Catholic. 3 receivers to the top of the screen. Handoff on the dive. That's Mandel, who's tripped up after a little bit of a gain. It'll be third and long. And so, if you have that completion a moment ago, you have that carry, you have something like 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, as opposed to 3rd and 9.
Yeah, and 3rd and 9, as I've said several times tonight, Nathan Hale's offense is not built for 3rd and 9. They don't have the horses to be able to go out and make plays, be dynamic down the field. They're a grind it out, run it between the tackles kind of team, and that's just setting yourself up for failure right there.
Here's the 3rd and 9 pass play, and it is complete. And evading a tackler, Colton Cairo for the first down, their third first down on this drive. And we're nearing the 90-second mark of this first half. And just as you might think, Hale starting to put something together, and they're up against the clock here.
Yeah, and right there, you can't have a missed tackle out there. If you're going to play that far off, your expectation is that your guy will come up and make the tackle so that nothing bad happens behind you. And he didn't make the play, but you got to give Cairo a lot of credit on that for breaking the tackle.
Hale brought down on the sack. Bunch of guys in there. David Hurdle, I believe, one of the guys in there. Jared Shattenkirk as well. And we've got a timeout taken here by Nathan Hale with 72 seconds to go in this half. This was their last timeout of the half. And it will be second down and about 13 after the sack of Hale. And a reminder, we'll have a brief halftime show for you coming up at the break. Nathan Hale, the Sound Division champions, right now trailing the Mountain Division champions, the Eastside Catholic Crusaders. And
the Mountain Division is the stronger division in Metro. They have O'Day, they have Seattle Prep, they have Eastside Catholic, and Rainier Beach is a pretty good team. They're Bishop Blanchette, while they were 0-4 in league, they're actually a pretty good team. They're an up-and-coming team. They've got some younger guys. And Bainbridge has a pretty good quarterback over there, and he's only a sophomore. So the Mountain Division's a little bit better, but Nathan Hale really came up big in the Sound.
Here's Aiden Gold on the carry on second down and 13. He's got a bundle of yards, is out near another first down, but is going to be a little bit short. Will they measure is the question here, because Hale may want that clock to stop if they can. They're eyeballing it right now to see if it is a first down, but a good carry for Aiden Golden. It looks like they will take the opportunity to measure here to be sure. And so they'll bring the chains over, I believe, from the long side of the field. But an opportunity to talk about that 3A Mountain Division a little bit more. We talked about Eastside Catholic undefeated. They got past their, challenge against O'Day. That was the big challenge this year, the hump to get over. And they got over that one with a great game a few weeks back. O'Day was a winner over Rainier Beach. They'll take the number 3 slot out of the Metro. The loser here will take the number 2, Eastside Catholic, or Nathan Hale, and the winner of tonight's game, the number 1. Rainier Beach lost to O'Day. They'll take the number 4 slot out of the Metro. And then Seattle Prep earlier today defeating Chief South. They're the number 5, and Chief South will be the number 6.
Yeah, and the Metro actually has always been O'Day and everybody else over the past probably decade, or actually since the turn of the century. It's been O'Day and everybody else. But last year you saw Seattle Prep come up and almost beat O'Day for the first time in, I want to say it was something like 30 years. Eastside Catholic has started to build their program. O'Day's kind of come back to the pack a little bit. And now you're starting to see some schools like Blanchette, schools that weren't real tough and were easy wins for those higher-end teams. And even Chief South, who we saw in the last game.
Just a little bit short after the measurement. So 3rd and 1 here. Critical for Nathan Hale, as I believe they will start the clock as well once they get everything set. This is a true yard here, and this is the kind of offense that can help get that, but they're going to have to get good penetration against that defense. Little fake, though. Halameem's looking end zone. Too tall, though, as he was looking for a receiver who had a step. That was Gadisa Magarsa. So a little trickaroo. You expect them to go to the ground on 3rd and 1 here, but they go to the air. It stops the clock with 54 seconds, but 4th and 1 coming up.
Well, they knew going into that play. They knew they were going to go for it, whether they scored on that play or not. So they might as well take a shot down the field, see what you can get. Now you got 4th and short to be able to get in.
Halameem's barking the signals, trying to get him to jump, and his own man moved.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because they had a very good play. You know the snap count. It's not like it's loud in here. You know, he didn't need to move, didn't need to get a jump, but did. And right there, that's what you see the effect of a front like Eastside Catholic has. The Nathan Hale players know that they have to get a good jump on this so they can get their angles.
So 4th and 6.
It's actually, it looks like a long 5.
It's a long 5.
Yeah. Short 6, long 5, whatever you want to call it.
If it was 4th and 1 a moment ago, it's got to be 4th and 6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, here it is. And they'll try fake on the sweep, and Eastside Catholic sniffed that one out. Big loss on the sack of Halameem's as he was thrown down.
Yeah, and he didn't really have a shot on that, and Eastside Catholic knew what they were going to have to do. And they just overwhelmed them with their size and their speed and their strength.
So Hale getting their best drive of the night, coming up a little bit empty. As they got down around the 25, near the red zone, but could not get any points out of it. So Eastside Catholic now with 49 seconds to go, working on a 43-point lead. We'll see what they opt to do here as Trey Reynolds out there. He's got a new friend in the backfield. This one scooped up by Reynolds. And he can't find anybody open. Says, you know what? I'm second leading rusher on this team. I'll run that one. Markel Sanders. Or not Markel Sanders, but...
I see Markel Sanders. He's right down there.
Yeah, that was not the guy in the backfield. But timeout taken here with 38 seconds left after the scramble picks up about 7.
That's what's so hard, and people don't feel bad for us, journalists, and analysts, things like that. But with these new uniforms and the way they bunch up, it's really hard to tell numbers sometimes.
It is true that they've really, in the essence of style, some of the function has withered away. See paragraph Oregon in the reference.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
But that is the way of the world right now. It is about playing good as much as it is looking good, apparently, these days, especially in the recruiting worlds. But this is a timeout taken by Eastside Catholic. They have one remaining, 38 seconds to go. They'll have 2nd and 4 coming
And maybe
up.
it's just because of what I grew up with and things like that. I'm a 41-year-old man. I just love the tradition. I love the traditional uniforms.
So you like USC's new uniforms?
They're new ones?
The old ones they used to have.
Yeah, the old ones, yeah. And, they're new old ones. I've never been into it, but you know what? That's when you start to realize that you're starting to get a little old.
All right, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Here we go, 2nd and 4.
Thanks.
38 seconds to go. Reynolds has a man. It's Meyer. He's got it for the first down and a bunch more. Race to the end zone. Will he get there? Yes, he does, but a penalty flag down. If it stands up, touchdown Eastside Catholic. But we'll see what we got here back at the 8-yard line.
And I think they got Musser for a block in the back as he was running down the field. And there's one also down here as well.
Way back at the 45-yard line. So we're going to have to check out some things. Everybody seems to be headed back to the line of scrimmage. 2 penalties against Eastside Catholic. They will take the one way back here. And we'll do it again with 28 seconds.
Because that other one would have been a spot foul.
Yep. So from the 45, where I believe the hold took place, they'll march it off. Back to the 35. So it will be 2nd down and about 12. That's what we'll call it here.
And I think you're going to see a running play right here.
28 seconds to go. Trey Reynolds in there with Johnny Mahalik in the backfield. And the pass complete to Mahalik here. On the near side, good for the first down, and he's quickly out of bounds. They only dropped 7 seconds on it. Addison Hull, the running back that's in the game right now.
3-8. It gets so bunched up 0. On those jerseys now. Yeah.
Yep. He's 3rd on the depth chart, behind Henry Jarvis and Brandon Wellington, who are getting a breather right now. Timeout taken by Eastside Catholic, and Jeremy Thielbar, just saw him kind of a little disgusted as he gave the timeout sign to the linesman there, as he was hoping his team would have a little bit more with-itness, I guess, in terms of what they wanted to operate here with 18 seconds left to go.
Yeah, he was really getting in the grill of Johnny Mahalik, one of his senior wide receivers and leaders on this team. I don't know what it was for. It might have been for a misalignment, not understanding what he needed to do, but called a timeout, and what do they have? They have 0 timeouts left. So
everybody's used their full repertoire.
So they're on the 41-yard line. You need to get something down the seam, and where you can, because you have 18 seconds left, where you can get down there, spike the ball, and give yourself a chance at the minimum a field goal, but also a chance at throwing it in the end zone and making a play.
Already up 43-0. Most of the damage done via the air, as Reynolds with 4 touchdowns passing to Jarvis, Musser, Boyd, and Kimball. Rushing touchdowns by Jarvis and Wellington.
And I think the reason that Thielbar was mad at Mahalik was because he didn't get out of bounds, so they had to use the timeout.
This is Reynolds looking deep, in and out of the hands. Is that complete? It is. Wow.
What a catch.
Johnny Mahalik makes the catch. It's 7 seconds remaining. It'll be 1st and goal from the 3. Clock will start as soon as the chains are set.
Have to make sure you line up correctly, because there is a runoff if you do have an offensive penalty on this.
They are starting the clock now. Here's the snap and the spike. So 3 seconds remain. And the Crusaders, Johnny Mahalik, I think, making up for not getting out of bounds a moment ago, as he gets the completion down there a moment ago. The big completion.
Wow, that ran 4 seconds off.
Well, he started the clock once the chains were set, so it wasn't with the spike. So 3 seconds left to go. Second down and goal from the 3. Reynolds with trips to the bottom of the screen to his left. Here's the completion or pass into the end zone, knocked down, intended for Colin Boyd. 1 second remaining, and now a penalty flag down. Roughing the passer. Or no, wait a second. Personal foul against Eastside Catholic. That'll back it up. Wow. Crazy last minute of this one in the first half.
And I think there's a chance you'll see the kicker come on, maybe. Get a second field goal attempt of the year.
Second field goal try, but we'll have to see here. They mark this one off. It will go back to the 19-yard line after the personal foul penalty against the Crusaders. So second down and goal from the 18, but just 1 second remaining in the half. Trips to the left.
Watch for an alley-oop pass out to the right side.
Peter Kimball, the receiver to the top of the screen. He's looking left, finds a man underneath. That's Meyer, complete, stays in bounds, and is steamrolled down for the final play of the half. Both teams had opportunities here on their last drives of the half, but both come up a little bit short. But Eastside Catholic, I'm not sure they care too much. They are in front of this one, 43-0 at the break, as they have scored in any number of ways through the air and on the ground. It has been a stellar first half for the Crusaders of Eastside Catholic. That's the end of the first half. We'll be back in a few moments with the PlayOnSports.com halftime show. Don't go anywhere. It's Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. Eastside Catholic leading Nathan Hale 43-0 here from Memorial Stadium in Seattle. We're back in a few minutes. Welcome to the PlayOnSports.com halftime show, coming to you from Memorial Stadium in beautiful Seattle, Washington. I'm Alex Webster alongside Scott Eklund of Dogman.com and Northwest Elite Index. Our halftime score is Eastside Catholic leading the Raiders of Nathan Hale 43-0 in the Metro Championship, 3A championship here in the greater Seattle area. And it's the Eastside Catholic Crusaders who are doing what many folks expected them to do, to come in. I just don't think that we all expected it to be this large of a margin. Last year, these two teams squared off in the runner-up contest in the crossover games, battling it out for third and fourth in Metro League, and it was a much tighter affair as Eastside Catholic won that one 38-29. Nearly a year to the day, 364 days later, these two teams battling it out for the Metro Championship, and right now it's all Crusaders.
Yeah, and I think you can see what a difference a year makes for the Crusaders. Last year was the first time that they had ever played under Coach Thielbar all through the year. They had been under Coach Gesser, who had started to build that program. Coach Thielbar has now taken them to the next level, and he's got these guys humming. You know, they've got Trey Reynolds, who's had put up huge numbers in this first half. You've got three wide receivers who all have over 70 yards each. Johnny Mahalik is the leading receiver. He's got, he's got 7 catches for 122 yards, and doesn't even have one of the scores. So,
no, he doesn't.
So, I mean, it's just been an impressive night.
Well, let's recap the scoring. It didn't take very long for Eastside Catholic to get on the board, the opening drive of the game, and they got pushed back on a penalty to 1st and 28, but they said, you know what, let's just run this little dump off here. We'll see what we can do. And Reynolds hit Jarvis, who took it and ran 69 yards for the score, and things were just beginning to heat up for Eastside Catholic.
Yeah, and what they did was they caught Hale in a blitz. He recognized it. He threw it right out to Jarvis, who only had to get one block and was gone from his offensive line.
And the problem for Nathan Hale is they just could not get things going offensively, and as a result, they gave the ball right back to Eastside Catholic, and Eastside Catholic able to Trey Reynolds getting his second touchdown of the night, a 29-yard strike, a beautiful one, all in the air to Musser, and then they get a 2-point conversion. A little bit later, still in the first quarter, a 5-yard carry from Jarvis gets them into the end zone. They worked with some short fields as well. That did help things in terms of the offense. They weren't pinned back a great deal. And they also completed the first quarter scoring on a 17-yard touchdown strike from Reynolds to Boyd.
Yeah, and Reynolds to Boyd, that was a situation where you watched the defensive backs for Nathan Hale, and they were playing, even though it was 1st and 10 from like the 10-yard line, they were playing 10 yards off, and they just ran quick slant routes, and they couldn't do anything about it.
Well, they didn't let up on the gas pedal in the second quarter either, as Reynolds found Peter Kimball on a 10-yard scoring strike, and after the PAT it was 36-0, and they weren't done yet. A 9-yard rush from Brandon Wellington. He gets in for the score point after, makes it 43-0. Both teams had an opportunity to score on those last couple of drives. For Nathan Hale, it was their best drive of the game. They came up a little bit short. Penalty sack didn't help things there. Nathan Hale, or rather Eastside Catholic, got it down here. Big penalty pushed them back, and they didn't get on the board as well. But for Hale, a great opportunity to get a sustained drive, work a little clock, try to get some confidence. They'll get an opportunity in the second half to try and get back some of the momentum that they'll want heading into the postseason next week.
Yeah, definitely. And this game is basically out of reach since we're going to have a running clock. It's going to be about a 20 or probably about a half in real time, because it will be a running clock, and it's 43-0 now. But what Hale needs to do when they get in there, he needs to tell his guys, look, don't worry about the score. Get out there, play as hard as you can, do everything you can to help this team, to pick up your teammates and do what you can. Don't worry about the score. I want to see who's going to play hard for me. And I mentioned it earlier in the broadcast. Who's going to play hard the rest of the way for both Nathan Hale and for Eastside Catholic will tell the coaches a lot about who they can rely on when we get into the playoffs.
And presumably next week for Nathan Hale, a team that comes into this one 7-1 with their only loss out of the 3A classification. They stepped up and played Roosevelt. lost that game. But otherwise, coming into this one undefeated at the 3A level, they'll have a 3A foe next week. It'll be the Narrows number 3 in all likelihood, either North Thurston or Shelton next week. So an opportunity to get back on the winning track in do-or-die situation.
Yeah, and those are two tough teams. They kind of had a trifecta down there in the Narrows 3A with Shelton, who was undefeated for most of the season until the last couple weeks, North Thurston, and then Timberline, who ended up winning the Narrows 3A.
Yep, and so everything to play for in terms of gearing up for that. While tonight may not be going the way that you want, it could be all about setting the gears up to go in the right direction next week.
Yeah, and as far as whoever the winner of this game gets, they get the winner of the Oak Harbor Meadowdale game, and that isn't going to be an easy chore. Those are two pretty good teams from the West Coast. So, whoever wins this game still has a tough task, but maybe not quite the same kind of task as the loser does, because they do face a much better team.
Well, we're at halftime here at Memorial Stadium, where Eastside Catholic here had the big advantage in the Metro League Championship game over the Nathan Hale Raiders. That's going to do it for our PlayOnSports.com halftime show. Friday Night Football will return in just a few minutes with the start of the second half. For Dual Sports, PlayOnSports.com. You're watching PlayOnSports.com's presentation of Friday Night Football live from Seattle, Washington. I'm Alex Webster along with Scott Eklund. Eastside Catholic Crusaders leading the Nathan Hale Raiders 43-0 as we begin the third quarter of play here in just a moment in the Metro League Championship. As the Mountain and Sound do battle here, and right now it's the Mountain beating the Sound. As we talked about the Eastside Catholic Crusaders coming out of that division with O'Day, Seattle Prep, Bainbridge Island, and Bishop Blanchette. While out of the Sound division, it's Nathan Hale topping Rainier Beach, Chief South, West Seattle, Cleveland, Franklin, and Ingram this year. And it will be the Raiders who will have the ball to start the third quarter after Eastside Catholic kicks off here in just a moment. Keys for Nathan Hale.
Keys for Nathan Hale. Keys for Nathan Hale is get something rolling on offense. You have to get more than, what did they end up with, 4 first downs in the first half? So, I mean, that's just something you cannot have. If you're going to get any kind of momentum going, you have to get some first downs. You have to get things working. And some of that is picking up your quarterback when he makes a good throw and not dropping it. Toward the end of the half, they were able to do that. As far as defensively, they're just going to have to try and do something that can keep this Crusaders team from rolling all the way down the field on them.
Well, they'll get a good start here as Jacob Gay, a rare miscue from the kicker for the Crusaders as he kicks this one out of bounds. But the way Aaron Mandel had been returning, he's actually been the best offense they've had. He just let that one go out of bounds because he knew he was going to get a decent field position out here at the 35 without having to take a lick. And he's been taking some licks from that Crusader defense.
Yeah, and here is Hallam Eames in to start the second half. And he made some plays but also took a lot of abuse.
Hallam Eames in at quarterback, and this third quarter starting in much the same way that the first quarter did. As the Raiders, this is uncharacteristic. A team that goes 7-1 throughout the season is not starting their opening drives of halves with penalties.
I don't think they're used to facing a team that just outsizes them as much as Eastside Catholic does. If you just look across the line, it's like a junior varsity team playing a college team right now. It's just from the size standpoint, not necessarily talent-wise, but from the size standpoint, it's a completely different game right now.
And, of course, with this wing T offense, deception is key, and this is not a team that's running it as well as they would like right now. And, of course, they'll have to drop back another 5 yards, and they'll set up a screen here. This time it's complete. Malik Alexander has it, lost the handle. Ball still loose, or did he come up with that one? The officials haven't blown the whistle, and it is Nathan Hale football. Guys gave up on that one.
Yeah, there's an Eastside Catholic man who had the ball right at his feet and just walked away. You got to play to the whistle, and that's something that Coach Thielbar is going to, talk about.
Winston Hallam Eames getting roughed again. So after all of that, even if Eastside Catholic had recovered it, it wouldn't be their ball as the penalty is tacked on to the end of, we'll call it a catch and run. A loose ball recovery, and just like that, Nathan Hale, it didn't start out very well with a penalty against them, but after that play, a lucky bounce, if you will, indifference as well, plus the 15-yard penalty, they're in Crusader territory. Just underway in the third quarter, running clock here with a 43-0 advantage for Eastside Catholic. Hallam Eames with the handoff. Good run here for the moment by Aiden Gold, but he's going to get stymied for a loss as the pursuit caught up to him.
And Dylan Mahosky comes up from his cornerback position and dropped back into coverage and then came up strong and made a great play.
So a loss of 3, we'll call it, back to midfield. Second down and 13 now. As Winston Hallam Eames and company out there trying to get some things going. They spread it out here. Hallam Eames going too tall, intended for Gadisa Magarsa, and that one about 2 yards too tall, and even the defenders for Eastside Catholic did not try on that one. Peter Kimball, Matt Kavak, Luke Latanzio.
And like we've said a number of times, when Nathan Hale gets backed up, their offense just isn't built for this. So they need to, instead of trying to get passes down the seam and things like that across, in the intermediate routes. They need to throw shorter routes, but the problem is Eastside Catholic just comes up on it and makes plays on the ball.
3rd and 13 from midfield. Handoff on the dive play. This is Aaron Mandel, the senior running back, 5'9", just 144 pounds.
Great job crashing in there by Paaga once again. Has made a ton of plays for Eastside Catholic on this defensive side of the ball, and has been a big reason why Nathan Hale hasn't been able to get anything going.
Well, just a few moments ago, Nathan Hale, by virtue of penalty and play, getting it into Crusader territory, but have been turned back here on 3 consecutive plays, and so the punting unit comes on. Jimmy Bowden, who's had some trepidatious punting in this one. It is unorthodox with some of the bounces that it takes, but he'll do his best here. This one, an unorthodox snap. High punt. This one probably one of the better ones, but unfortunately it takes an initial Crusader bounce, and it's covered up by the Raiders. Alex Miller just outside the 20-yard line, and that's where the Crusaders will have it. 1st and 10 here for their first time in the second half, leading 43-0.
Now let's see who we see come out here for the Crusaders at quarterback. Looks like it is still going to be Reynolds.
Trey Reynolds, and we'll see how long he remains in the game. You don't want on the eve, if you will, of the postseason, your one-and-done season, to have anything befall some of your guys, especially in a game that you're up 43-0. And Reynolds drawing somebody off. Jumping across, Nomer Jockson.
I think that's the 4th offsides penalty that Reynolds has been able to induce from Nathan Hale.
So 1st and 5 now from the 26. Reynolds taking his time here with 2 receivers to either side. The handoff going to Brandon Wellington, who starts in the backfield this second half. Breaks 1 tackle, but not a second, but good enough for the first down.
Yeah, good run, good tough run. Didn't get too speedy, so he allowed his blocking to do what they needed to do, but also was able to get free for a good gain and get a first down.
No huddle offense, the Crusaders run as they come right to the line. Now look over for the sign. Reynolds talking to Wellington about the call here. 6:36 to go in the third. Here's the run by Wellington, breaking through on a hole on the right side for a pickup of about 9.
Yeah, great run there. Got a good blocking downfield by the right tackle out there, and now gives them a short second down play to look forward to.
2 receivers either side again. Reynolds now relaying the signals once again. Snap, handoff, Wellington. Running room as he reverses it back to the right side. Through a hole into the secondary and down the sideline he goes. And a penalty flag down on the near side as Wellington tackled at the 20, but we'll see where this one ends up.
And right there you see the reaction of Hunter Hudgens, a 6'5", 285-pound senior who kind of was exasperated with the fact that there was a flag thrown. And so you think that usually the guy who's the most angry is usually the guy who had the penalty.
Well, the holding penalty back at the 41-yard line. They'll mark it back 10 yards from that spot. It'll be down at the 49 now.
So it'll be first down.
Yep.
But just won't be the big play that it was.
Yep. Big hunk of real estate back. And the Crusaders back in their own territory just slightly.
And here's where if you're Coach Thielbar, you want your team to come out healthy, but you also want to make sure that they got their head in this game no matter what the score is.
Raiders showing blitz. Now drop off a little bit. Bring the linebacker from the outside, and Wellington just right up the middle for a pickup of 4.
And that was almost the same play that he just ran for about 30 yards on. Cut back against the grain, got against the flow, and was able to get free, but just wasn't able to break out like he was before.
4:29 to go in the third. Eastside Catholic up 43-0, working on second down and about 6 or 7. Long count by Reynolds. Now to the air. Nice pass and completion. As out of bounds for the first down is Cole Ivanov. 5'10", 160-pound senior getting the catch.
And you can see Reynolds is just very relaxed back there. It's basically just been pitch and catch almost the entire game for him back there, and hasn't really been harassed very much.
So into Raider territory they go. This is the first drive of the second half for Eastside Catholic. Trey Reynolds again complete on the near side, just for a little bit though. And Cole Ivanov, back-to-back receptions now. Gets a couple, second down and 8 coming up.
And you see Coach Teelbar out, starting to put in some of his subs, guys who don't get a lot of reps. Get them some significant reps so they can get out there and feel good about it, especially seniors.
And again, a Raider comes offside. Graham Harper, one of the linebackers who's up on that line. I think he might have had happy feet, thinking he might have been coming on the blitz.
Yep, and what you have is guys just trying to make plays, and they're not playing within themselves. They're making too many mistakes and giving Eastside Catholic too many yards when they don't really need to be doing that.
Yep, instead of second and long, it's now second and short, second and 2 to be exact. Twins to either side, but the give is to Wellington up the middle. Breaking tackles, outpacing the defense. Touchdown, Brandon Wellington, 29-yard score.
And right there you can see his explosiveness and why the coaches are so excited to have him in their backfield, because they're going to lose Jarvis after this year. And Wellington is a guy that they can get out in the open field. He can catch the ball a little bit, but he's explosive. Once he gets through that first wave of the offensive line, it's over.
So Wellington in for the score, and we'll see on the point after try, Jacob Gay, who is 5 for 5 in this game. Wellington, his second touchdown run of the night. Snap is down, the kick up, and this one off the upright, but in. Penalty flag down, however. That has been a refrain we've repeated far too many times tonight. And we'll see if that one will hold up. It's currently 49-0, and now they disperse, so either the point will count or it's no good. It is good, and it is a personal foul against Eastside Catholic. They'll mark it off on the kick.
And Coach Thielbar isn't going to like that. His team has had way too many personal foul penalties. Not just on a late hit, which is more of an effort penalty, but guys shoving, guys talking, guys doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing, and that's something that he's going to have to work on, because you can't afford to do that against better teams.
Yeah, Wellington with his second rushing touchdown of the night. And of the 7 touchdowns, 3 have come on the ground and 4 have come through the air. And Nathan Hale across the way, taking a knee as they
huddle up a little bit.
Get a good huddle here from their head coach, Hoover Hopkins, who, again, this is a team that's gone 7-1 this year. They've only tasted defeat one time and did that in a game, against an opponent from the 4A classification. In some way, you kind of have to consider Eastside Catholic in much the same family as Eastside Catholic, undefeated on the year, classified along with Bellevue and Mount Si as the triumvirate to beat. Bellevue's in a class by itself, now moving up to second in the nation according to Max Preps.
Wow.
But you want to get to that championship game and let the chips fall where they may. This is one of those teams that's a must-beat, and for Nathan Hale, they're trying to just find their way against this level of competition. Short kick, as you might imagine, after the penalty marked off. And a return here from the Raiders. Big hit by the Crusaders. As the return by Aiden Gold. He is dropped by Avili Kalanivu.
Say that 5 times fast.
Avili Kalanivu.
Yeah.
Or Valu, I should say.
Yeah.
It is a mouthful, but it's worth it for that hit.
And so now you're going to start to see a lot more of the subs come in. The offense and the defense have both had a possession each to get out there and work some of the kinks out. Now you're going to see a lot more guys come in and be out there.
1:13 to go in the third. Hallam Eames faking the dive. Handoff on the end around, and this one is dropped for little to no gain. And that was Alex Miller.
And Mandel is a player who has rushed for almost 800 yards this year, has quite a few touchdowns, has really ground out a lot of yards, and just hasn't got free for much of anything tonight. He has 7 rushes for about 30 yards, 10 rushes for 30 yards, so hasn't really been able to do very much at all.
Out of the shotgun this time, Winston Hallam Eames looking for a receiver. He's got a man down the right sideline in traffic, just a little too long. That was Gadisa Magarsa. He had just the slightest of steps.
And you can see Hale out there battling as much as they can, but just unable to do very much.
15 seconds remaining in this third quarter with the running clock here in the second half. They might be able to get another play off. I'm not sure if they will. Now down to 6 seconds remaining. I think that will do it for our third quarter of action as the clock finds zeros. And at the end of 3 here at Memorial Stadium, it is Eastside Catholic leading Nathan Hale 50-0. And an opportunity to remind you that PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here. And just as we talk about the eve of the playoffs starting next week here in high school football in the state of Washington, things are brewing in both volleyball, swimming and diving, and soccer as well. And those championship events will be coming your way in the month of November.
Yeah, soccer, for the women.
Yep. Girls soccer, swimming and diving, as well as girls soccer. Those championships coming your way in the weeks ahead in November. And then the state championships for football coming in post-Thanksgiving.
And then a lot of football players.
December. That's
right. A lot of football players go right into basketball season right after football season.
That's
ends.
right. That's right. So it's all coming your way here on PlayOnSports.com. Keep it tuned here and visit the WIAA network page to find out what's coming your way soon. Hallam Eames had some defenders coming at him soon, so he unloads into the flat, gets it ahead to Aaron Mandel, who gets a little bit of a gain on that 3rd and 9 play, but it's not going to be near enough, and the punting unit will come in again.
And I think for Hale, what they want to do is they want to tell them they want to get a score, before the end of this quarter, before they go home tonight and sit in the ice bath, because a lot of these guys have been hit pretty hard, but. More than anything, they want to get some points on the board and get that positivity going. And look, we didn't play well, made a lot of mistakes, but in the end, we need to just keep playing this game and doing what we can to represent our school, represent our teammates, and play to the best of our abilities.
Jimmy Bowden's punt, a good one here as it finally comes to a stop at the 25. And that's where the Crusaders will take over here. Already working with a 50-0 lead. We'll see if they change things up a little bit. Trey Reynolds has gone the distance at quarterback, but they have a couple of capable backups, and we'll see if they go in that direction. Reynolds throwing for well over 300 yards, 4 touchdowns tonight, no picks.
Yeah, he's close to 400 yards actually right now. Hasn't really thrown any incompletions or anything.
Here's
either.
Harley Kirsch, the backup quarterback, just a freshman, 6'3", 200-pounder, who's played in 5 games this season. He will take over the reins of this powerful Crusader offense. Kirsch apparently taking too much time, or rather the entire unit coming on, getting the talking to on the sidelines to go in and do good things, and I don't think they left them enough time to run the offense.
No, they didn't, and that's that's something you don't want to see. It makes you just shake your head. It's like, how can you get a delay of game coming out of a timeout?
Yep, so Kirsch and company back to go on 15 yards on first down, but they get a chunk of it back here and a little bit more as the pass complete to Colin Boyd. And the junior receiver coming up with the reception gets that back and some more. It will end up being second down and about 5 after the completion by Harley Kirsch, who came into this one 27 of 43, completing about 63% of his passes with 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. And we've got another penalty flag.
And now you're starting to see the mistakes by the guys who aren't used to getting a lot of reps. They get out there, they want to play, they want to do stuff, and you see guys jumping and making some mental errors here.
And this time, movement will cost them 5. So instead of 2nd and 5, it'll be back to 2nd and 10. And I feel like we're just kind of going right back to where we were.
Yeah, we're mouse
a few moments ago.
Mouse wheels.
Doesn't this yard line look familiar?
Yeah, Reed
Holland.
There
you go.
Reed Holland. He's only a sophomore, so he's got a long time to learn and do different things. He's out there first playing time in probably a while, and just needs to get his head in it.
Kirsch, the southpaw, using his legs this time, gets those 5 yards back and a little extra. We talked about Kirsch. He's rushed 37 times for 225 yards this year, a 6-yard average. He's got a long of 35 yards. We've got another penalty flag down against Eastside Catholic, so negate that run by Kirsch. Kirsch with 1 rushing touchdown this year. And this looks like it's going to be a big one. 10-yard penalty on the hold. And the Crusaders will have it back at their own 10-yard line. Second and 25, rather. And here's Kirsch looking to the air. He's leveled back near the goal line. Kirsch sacked. Great penetration by the Raiders as they get one of their few defensive stars of the night. And that'll back it up just a little bit further. They'll spot it at the 3. 4th and 30, rather 3rd and 32.
I think you look for a run here. Just get yourself some. Okay, maybe not.
They're going to go to the air, and this time pass, I want to say incomplete. It was dropped, intended for Eastside Catholic's Matt Laris, a freshman, 6'2", 195-pound wideout. And you're starting to see some of the, as we mentioned, some of the freshmen, sophomores that you alluded to, guys that don't typically see Friday night lights. They see other day.
Yeah, Thursday or Wednesday.
Or Monday.
Or Monday, yeah.
And then sometimes not even under the lights either. I'm familiar with that concept 20 years ago. Here's a punt, a rarity for Eastside Catholic. And this one is wobbly and not very good, but it will take a Crusader roll. And Peter Kimball watching it bounce here at the 39-yard line. And yet another penalty flag thrown near the area where the ball was finally down. Very curious stuff. Blake Maimone, who we talked about, third-string quarterback, is also the punter.
Yeah, he hasn't seen any time tonight.
We have unsportsmanlike conduct against Eastside Catholic.
You have to wonder what some of these Eastside Catholic players are thinking when they're doing this stuff. You know, I mean, and the coaches can't be happy, and you can kind of see it on their faces. They're like, what are you guys doing? You know, they really need to get control of some of their players and realize that, yes, you're up big in this game, but Eastside Catholic, they want to get a shutout. That's what every team wants to get. Whenever you have one going, it's like the no-hitter.
Well, we've got a break in the action here as I think we've got a timeout taken by Eastside Catholic to try and put to rest some of the shenanigans here. Blake Maimone, who had that punt, it did not come out very well, but he averages about 43 yards a punt, and considering where they were backed up and the ball was out it wasn't too bad considering he didn't have the full complement of space back there.
No, they did get a good roll out of it, and it was exactly what you want to get other than a big boomer. But, with the penalty now, you have Nathan Hale with great field position there on the 29-yard line of Eastside Catholic, and they actually have a chance to get a little momentum going here.
Well, trying to bust up the shutout, and, of course, with the running clock that we've had, 5:24 is all that remains in this one. So if Nathan Hale is going to get it done, this is probably the drive to try and get it in. And a reminder to stay tuned for the PlayOnSports.com post-game show where we'll select our player of the game as well as wrap up all the action from this contest. That's coming up following the game on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. So out of the shotgun, Winston Halameems got some running room, but elects to unload it. It's nearly intercepted, then nearly caught. In and out of the hands of Matt Kavek, who had one interception earlier this year against Eastlake, but could not hang on.
And Nathan Hale is not giving up. They're still trying to make plays. They're still trying to do stuff. That has to be encouraging for Coach
Hoover Hopkins.
Yep.
And here is Halameems. He's got it complete inside the 10-yard line. Nice pass to Gadisa Magarsa, who hangs on this time for the first down, and it's 1st and goal for the Raiders. The 6-yard line is where they'll spot it. 1st and goal. Halameems looking left side as receiver fell down, and there's the penalty flag to indicate perhaps why. Contact there. I'll be the first to say I did not see the collision. I just saw the after effect.
Yeah, and sometimes I'm in agreement with that. I mean, being a former wide receiver, it's kind of frustrating that a guy would interfere with you, but if you can prevent the touchdown, that's probably going to be a sure touchdown. You take that penalty.
4 minutes to go in this one. 1st down and goal now from inside the 5. They'll spot it at the 3-yard line, half the distance to the goal on the penalty for pass interference. Halameems trying to get the Raiders into the end zone for their first score. It's a draw play and a big hit, but a touchdown by Aaron Mandel as the Raiders on the board. 3-yard touchdown run for Aaron Mandel on the draw play.
And you have to feel good for Nathan Hale being able to get in there. They've been plugging away all night, trying to get some points on the board, get something positive going, and there you go. And a lot of that was caused by Eastside Catholic because you have the unsportsmanlike penalty, because you have the busted coverage, and then because you have the penalty in the end zone. So
Colin Davies on to try the extra point, the junior kicker. And another penalty flag as things have gotten really messy in the latter stages of this one. Encroachment, the defensive call, so it'll be half the distance to the goal from that spot. Will they opt to go for 2 here, perhaps? It's cosmetic nonetheless, but you might be in this situation down the road and want to have a little bit of practice.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think that's what they're going to
do it, yeah.
Yep, they're going to go for 2 here. So Colin Davies back to the sideline. As here's Halameems. As he's got Mandel behind him as the single setback. Nope, this time it's on the wing T formation, the end around, and it's Malik Alexander in for the 2-point conversion. And that'll make it 50-8 with 3:24 left to go in the ball game.
And Coach Hopkins now is going to gather up his guys and say, look, let's get another stop. Let's try and get the ball back one more time for our offense, see what else we can get going.
And, of course, with the running clock, Eastside Catholic may not have to do much of anything with this next possession to wrap up the Metro League Championship. Not bad for a team that last year came into the runner-up game against these same Raiders of Nathan Hale, and I'm sure that their number one goal this year was to win state, of course, but a league championship is in that mix as well.
Yeah, I talked to several Eastside Catholic players before the season, and they all said we want to win the Metro this year. And I think they looked at O'Day as the school they had to get past, which was obvious. They did do that. Then they knew they were going to need to play in the championship game, which is what we have here tonight. Now we need to get a win in the playoffs, see where we can go from there.
Well, and here's the curiosity of the moment is, are we looking at an onside kick perhaps?
Well, if you're Nathan Hale, maybe you say to yourself, what
do
how's
we have
it going
to
hurt
lose?
us? Yeah,
exactly.
How's it going to hurt us?
And as they say, an opportunity to practice that as well. And there is the onside kick try, and it's just going to end up going past the Crusaders out of bounds for the penalty coming up. So if that was practice for the future, it was not perhaps the execution that they would like, and perhaps they'll go back and work on that one as the playoffs await them here coming up next week, both these two teams. And, of course, at the beginning of the year, coaches do a preseason poll as to who's going to finish at the top of which division. Nathan Hale has actually picked to finish the Metro Sound division at the top. Close battle with Rainier Beach. They just outpointed them by 2 points. And then on the mountain side, it was actually O'Day that was picked to win. But, again, they just outpointed Eastside Catholic by 2. So really bunched together at the top, and these two teams were able to get the job done.
Yep.
So here is the running attack of Eastside Catholic. Addison Hull with the carry.
And Mamone is in.
Blake Mamone, the third quarterback used by by Eastside Catholic. And Mamone, playing in 4 games this year, is 8 of 13, completing 62% of his passes for 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. Under 2 minutes to go. 2nd down and 1. Mamone using as much of the play clock as he can. Now we'll get ready for the snap. There it is, the handoff, and Hull met in the hole and thrown back. Those Raiders have not given up. Despite the outcome, they are playing as if the score was tied.
Yeah, they're still playing tough, still playing strong in the middle, not backing down from this big Eastside Catholic team. And I think we might just need one more play.
Well, it is 3rd down and make it 2 now. They'll call it a long one, but it's closer to 2. 1 minute to go. And Mamone leaving his team standing there waiting for the snap. And here it comes. Nice grab by Mamone to just snare that one, keep control of it, diving forward, and that might be the final play of the game. We'll see. As it is now 4th down. Now 30 seconds left to go. One more play perhaps coming up.
Yep. Maybe just have him run backwards.
There's a lot of running room there, 52 yards of it. Down to 16 seconds now in the game, and Eastside Catholic can celebrate their Metro League championship here in just a few moments. 6 seconds to go. 3, 2, and won't need another play. That is your ball game. Eastside Catholic remains undefeated as they improve to 9-0 with a 50-8 victory in the Metro League championship game over the Raiders of Nathan Hale. Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to stay tuned to PlayOnSports.com for our brief post-game show. We'll wrap up all the action coming up next. Once again, Eastside Catholic defeating Nathan Hale 50-8 on Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. Welcome back to Seattle, Washington, and the PlayOnSports.com postgame show. I'm Alex Webster alongside Scott Eklund, where we just saw the Eastside Catholic Crusaders remain undefeated, improve to 9-0, and secure the Metro League Championship for 2012, defeating the Nathan Hale Raiders 50-8. It's all Crusaders all night long.
Yeah, it really was from the get-go pretty much. Nathan Hale had a chance to make a play on that first. They hold them to 2 yards rushing on the first 2 plays of the game, and then Eastside Catholic comes out, hits a long gainer to get a first down, and then a couple plays later, they hit the 69-yarder to Jarvis, Trey Reynolds to Jarvis. That kind of set the tone, and they never really looked back for the rest of the night.
Yeah, big 69-yard catch and run, and we've seen that before where a team that has all the momentum, all the advantages, size, strength, and athleticism in many cases, depth as well, come in, and they make that first big play, and sometimes that's the knockout blow.
And it can just take the wind right out of the sails of their opponents, and they know that, and the opponents just really don't have a lot of time to get back into it. Nathan Hale, you have to appreciate the fact that they, as we see the trophy being awarded for the Metro title right there down on the field, right near the 50-yard line. But Nathan Hale, you have to appreciate that they came out here and played for a full 48 minutes on the clock, and they're going to make some noise in this postseason here. They just are not ready to play with the big boys yet.
Well, and one of the big boys in this one was Trey Reynolds, the senior quarterback for Eastside Catholic. A big night, most of the damage coming in the first half. Our player of the game.
Yeah, it is player of the game. 26 of 30 for 420 yards and 4 touchdowns. Had 378 yards in all 4 of his touchdowns in that first half. Really didn't do very much, only played a series in the second half. Really came out, showed why he was such a vital part of their team, and why they were really excited to get him back and fully healthy after he missed a couple games earlier in the year.
Yeah, 4 different receivers on the receiving end. Jarvis with 1, Musser with 1, Boyd with 1, and Kimball with 1. And Jarvis also with a rushing touchdown in this one. Brandon Wellington with 2 rushing touchdowns. The future running back, the mainstay for the Crusaders in the years to come. The Nathan Hale Raiders, they got on the board in the fourth quarter. They did not quit. They kept things going. Aaron Mandel plunging in from 3 yards out, and then they added a 2-point conversion courtesy of Malik Alexander to get to our final score of 50-8 in this one. And now for both teams, this one was really all about this trophy and this league championship. It didn't really impact too much about whether they got into the playoffs, maybe a little bit of the seeding, but both, as I understand, will host playoff games next week. It's just a matter of who they will go on to face, and we learn a little bit more based on who won today as to how it will all shake out.
Yeah, and like we've kind of mentioned a couple times, Eastside Catholic will play host either Oak Harbor up there on Woodby Island or Meadowdale from Linwood. Whoever the winner of that game is, that'll be the Westco 4, number 4 team, and they'll take them on next week. And Nathan Hale will face the winner of the North Thurston and Shelton game, which will be the Narrows number 3. And most like, from what we're hearing, it'll be a home game here at Seattle Memorial, but we're not 100% sure on that one.
It is one of those things. The playoff system in the state is
kind of moves around a little bit.
It does. It's one of those things where there's seeding, and there's alignments, and there's districts, and there's sub-districts, and leagues, and all those things. You need the slide rule or a calculus degree in order to kind of sort through some of these things. But from what we've been able to ascertain, that's what we believe. But nonetheless, both teams moving on into the postseason. And for Eastside Catholic, you're now 9-0. You come into this game ranked by many as the number 2 team in the state in the 3A classification. Others have them 3rd, but in the mix there with Bellevue and Mount Si, part of that conversation. And for right now, those 3 teams have got to be considered among the teams to beat in this classification.
Yeah, they really do. Eastside Catholic has been good all year. Nobody's really been that close to them. I mean, you would have thought O'Day would have been the one that was close to them, and it was at halftime. It was tied up 14-all at halftime. But then Eastside Catholic just came out and boat raced them and ended up winning 35-21 before, by the end of it. That was also the night that Bellevue played at Mount Si.
Yep,
and,
I was there
just,
for that one.
And just raced right past them.
Yep.
So, but Mount Si is such a good team. Actually, the game that I really want to see
is Eastside Catholic Mount Si.
And Mount Si.
Yeah,
I think that would be an exciting game because they're both loaded with some talented players. Mount Si has a good young quarterback, in Nick Mitchell. These guys have some good young talent, but they also have a really good leader in Trey Reynolds. I think we've seen him come out and really make plays. So that would be a real interesting game. I think Bellevue is head and shoulders above everybody else, maybe even torso above everybody else. But after that, things jump up, bunch up a little bit with Mount Si and Eastside Catholic, and then another step down, you have O'Day, you have Oak Harbor, you have a very good Marysville-Pilchuck school who is actually taking on Glacier Peak tonight for the West Coast 3A championship. So that should be an interesting matchup as well.
And you also got some teams by the name of Kennedy and Peninsula and Ferndale and
Timberline.
Yeah. There's this 3A classification is you got Bellevue and you got everybody else. Bellevue just moving up to number 2 in the nation according to Max Preps. So someone wants to unseat the king of the mountain, but you got to get
there first
to the top of the mountain
really
do that. And that's the battle here in the weeks to come. And you know what? This is the regular season now done.
It's hard to believe.
It is. It goes pretty quick. And now it's the postseason, and it starts next week, and it's one and done.
Yeah, and to start off the season, I watched Federal Way come out and have a running clock in the second half against Rogers. And I end the regular season watching Eastside Catholic have a running clock on theirs. And Federal Way, as good as Skyline is, Federal Way, if they can get some good quarterback play, they're going to be real tough for Skyline in the 4A classification. And like we've noted several times, Bellevue is just head and shoulders. They're better than all the 4A schools too.
Well, that's going to wrap it up from Memorial Stadium, where the Eastside Catholic Crusaders remain undefeated and secure the Metro League title by defeating the Nathan Hale Raiders 50-8. We'd like to thank you for joining Play On Sports coverage of Friday Night Football from Seattle. Be sure to check playonsports.com for information and links to all of our upcoming broadcasts. For our producer, Nathaniel Jackson, my partner, Scott Eklund, I'm Alex Webster saying so long, and we hope you'll join us next time on your destination for high school sports and Friday Night Football, playonsports.com. Good night, everybody.